Blue, everybody. What a beginning to the Davis-Warren experiment. We're here with our next annual edition here of the Michigan Postgame Live call-in show here at the Voice of College Football. My name is John Diadamo. For those of you who don't know me, you can just hit the Twix, John Diadamo, if you want to follow me. And of course, as is going to be the case every week, host of our Thursday call-in show, co-hosted Tuesday, and now also on this, TJ Ronin in the house. TJ, we needed our therapy beverages on this one until the end.
Yeah, it got a little stressful. I was like 2 quarters in, and I said I got to make a beer run. So me and John were texting each other like, all right, we could be in for a therapy session tonight, but it ended up being a lot better than it started. As me and John were discussing in our personal texts, it just appeared that, Michigan started to open up its offensive playbook and more was going on, but we'll get into that. But yeah, man, I mean, what a game. The score does not show the game. It does not really do a great job of explaining what we just saw. But here's the positive. We got the dub. On to next week.
Got the dub on to next week, and we do have our takeaways and the Leaders and Best Award to give out. But before we do, a quick reminder, everybody to hit the like button, subscribe, share this out with a friend. If you send in a super chat, your comment or question is going to get to the top of the line. And we are, as you know, in the Kenneth Grant hunt here to beat Ohio State. And so I whipped this up real quick, did a little quick math. We're currently 580 away from beating Ohio State at the Voice of College Football. So today's show, to help out, today's show is subscriber only. So in order to chat, you got to be a subscriber for at least 5 minutes. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified. So all of the content that we put out there, you'll be able to know when we're talking and when we're going live on stuff, because there's going to be a lot more during the season. So help us beat Ohio State. Akron wasn't able to today. I was rooting for them. I was saying go Zips, but they weren't able to quite get it done down the stretch. But you guys can help us beat Ohio State. And with that said, let's get to our 5 kind of takeaways here. Of course, final score 30-10. So let's kind of start with hitting the defense a little bit. So I would say Wink Martindale called a very good game for the most part. I don't think it was perfect, but I think that he maintained what Jesse Minner and Mike McDonald had already established. And it just showed that Sharon Moore made the right decision by picking the guy that literally, as he said, is the OG of the 4-2-5, 4-3 Ravens kind of multiple defense. And clearly that showed up in a couple areas today. Mason Graham was able to beat double teams to break through and make some tackle some people. And of course, Will Johnson with that interception, but just the whole game, keeping Fresno to just 10 points. They look pretty potent. So the fact that Wink Martindale and the defense was able to do that, I would say that's the nicest thing I'm going to be able to say, other than the kicker. So TJ, what did you think about the defense and how it kind of maintained from last year?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the defense is as advertised, right? It is as advertised all summer long. This is another national championship caliber defense. And John, we did see, like we saw in fall camp, or the rumors out of fall camp, is that the depth of this defense really showed. I mean, we saw the rotation of the depth. You saw Rayshawn Benny get it. We saw Jimmy Rolder out there. We saw Amir Hall with a big hit. We saw, Jair Hill, which is not necessarily depth, but in terms of holding down the number 2 spot, Jair Hill looked good.
Yeah, McCart Page had an
Will Johnson got burned a little bit tonight, which is interesting, but he made up for it with the big play. But the boys played well. The defense was humming. Josiah Stewart, 2 sacks. Shout out to him, right? Defensively, I feel good. I'm zero concerns there. They're only going to get better. Makari Page, what a game. He really stood out tonight. Makari Page. Wesley Walker got action. Yeah, I mean, TJ Guy unfortunately made some young errors in the game, but yeah, I mean, I thought the defense was as advertised. It was everything. See, that's what's so interesting about it, John, is when we look at what was discussed in camp and over the summer, the defense hit like everything that we've heard. It's just, obviously we'll get into the offense, but it's interesting to see the dichotomy of that.
Yeah, and there are some people in chat pointing out that there was maybe a little too much blitzing, and I said in the beginning I didn't think it was a perfect game plan. I don't think it was quite as much blitzing as people thought, though.
Yeah, they did a
Like
lot of
people
4
were,
rush. Mhm.
yeah, like there's a little
rushed
bit
4 a
of this
lot.
type of comment, a little bit of this terrible defensive call. Okay, maybe there were 1 or 2 things that looked like Don Brown, but it was still, in my view,
Nah,
I
well,
thought it was a multiple. I thought he mixed it up.
my biggest issue on defense was the rotating of corners. I don't understand what that was about.
Yeah,
And
we've
then
got a
also
whole thing
throwing,
on all the rotation. Yeah,
yeah,
coming up.
so I mean, that was my biggest, and then also throwing a couple guys on islands who probably shouldn't be on islands, but which is some Don Brown shit. But other than that,
Yeah,
I
that
mean, the
is Don
defense
Brown
played
shit.
really well, and also and we will get into this more, but and me and John, we talked about this, before the show, through text, and they definitely opened the playbook up when they needed to, and that is why you saw the difference from the first to the second half, and we'll get into that more as the show goes on. But yeah, I mean, the defense showed out. Good to see, but we obviously have some other areas of question that we'll get into.
Absolutely. I do want to honor our 3 super chat or 4. Holy crap. Already we got 4 super chats. Thank you, everybody. Blue Wolverine, anyone else drained after that game? I mean, we literally were breaking
Yeah.
out the delicious beverages
Yeah.
when we were hitting the third quarter.
After the second quarter, I texted John. I said, I'm going on a beer run. I'm going on a beer run, dude. But yeah, I mean, listen, that first half was stressful, bro. I think we all expected more out of the team. They definitely did what they needed to do in terms of securing the victory, but definitely they left us more to be desired. I'll say that, especially offensively.
Sure. Jordan with the super sticker here, $1.99. Appreciate that. Jordan, this might be the first super chats, or maybe Jordan's done it before. But if it's the first super chats,
yeah,
we appreciate it a lot when you super chat any amount. And so he gave 2 in a row, and Mullings came up huge when we needed a drive. So that's
true.
Get into
that.
I like Mullings' performance. Holy crap, we're really getting them lined up here now. The effort, yep, we're going to talk about this too. Nick, $1.99. The effort by our wide receivers tonight was BS. Step it up. With 1 or 2 exceptions, I agree with you. Mr. Jones, $1.99. Only issue with this team is the O-line. Here's one that's defense related. Drufus, $1.99. TJ, my guy, got screwed.
Well, I mean, hopefully we're not discussing the face mask horse collar combo penalty that he had. But you understand he's a young player, man. I mean, we gotta let him find his feet, find his legs. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I expect more out of him. He'll do more. He was a player though that got a lot of action. He was in the rotation, which was good to see. Cameron Brandt also in the rotation. We have exactly what we need defensively in terms of we have the depth to do the boa constrictor type defense, continue rotating guys, staying fresh. We saw Fresno State start to wear out again, just like we do to all opponents. And we'll get into this, especially with teams like Texas. That's not going to fly with the higher caliber teams, but we'll get into that more. But I do want to hit on the chat about the offensive line.
Yeah,
there were positives. What really needs to happen with this offensive line, and we'll get into the debate between Crippen and okay, so this was our second point, so we'll just get into it now.
Yeah, we'll just get into it now.
Yeah, so the offensive line, as John pointed out here, it's figuring it out, and I would agree with this point. They need to gel. Now, I think we would all agree when Judice was in, he wasn't cutting it. Now they did bring him in later in the game. He did rotate in later in the game, but right when I shot out a tweet on social media and I said it might be time, and I was wrong with my first point. I said it might be time for Orgy and Crippen to get in the game. As soon as I sent that, Crippen was placed into the game. And then you could definitely tell an improvement from the offensive line by doing so. Judice just seemed to be getting pushed back. He didn't have enough push. And you could, and you can also, like, what the offensive line needs is more time, more reps, more time on task. They need to gel. There is talent. Like, I thought Evan Link played well. I thought Josh Pre played well. I thought Giovanni Ohadi played well. There was one situation where Giovanni Ohadi and Judice, they were supposed to, that sack that they gave up on Warren, that was a mix between Judice and Giovanni Ohadi. Like, that was both the responsibility. They were both supposed to take care of that stunt. So
yeah,
they need more time. They need more chemistry. They will get better. The unfortunate thing is we don't have time. We have Texas next week. They got to get their shit together real quick.
Yeah. People who are, there was a lot of people going at Davis Warren. Davis Warren, in my view, did okay. Yeah, he had the pick, but I thought if you're gonna have a pick, it's in that exact situation, right? It's we call it a waste down. It's a first down, so you have more opportunities, and obviously it was picked off in an area where they have a lot of length of the field to go. So if he had to throw a pick, I think that would be what I would choose. But I think it was more the fact that the line early on, until Crippengate came in there, and they really did start to pick it up in the second half for the most part. But the offense, just the play calling seemed weird. Some of the gimmicky run stuff, it reminded me of when Kirk Campbell was the OC last year, and he was substituting in for Sharon Moore, and his passing concepts were pretty good, but his runs didn't go anywhere. And it kind of looked like a repeat of that. And when you combine that with the O-line struggles and not really getting the separation, that creates a problem for Davis Warren, because then the Fresno State was getting at him. He was getting pressure. But once the line started to work in the second half, then Davis Warren started to complete more balls, and that opened up the run more for Edwards and Mullings to start to actually get some run time, and Alex Orji too. Like, you started to see some rushing yards in the second half. So it all really does come to the O-line and kind of some questionable, weird play calling. And then I think they opened up the Texas pages a little bit at the end, because they realized, oh shit, we might lose to Fresno State
in the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there was a lot of questionable play calling. A lot of interesting substitution and rotation, which we're going to get into that also in a point from now. But listen, Sharon Moore, Kirk Campbell, I mean, get it together, because this isn't going to cut it. Listen, I think the way I would describe our offense tonight was uninspiring. Although I will say, again, second half, and I will say this. No question, they opened the playbook up. That was very obvious to anyone watching. The playbook did expand. But there's some things that they need to do. Like, I think we would agree, like Blue Wolverine, I was just going to hit on this. Donovan was not the Don, but they need to put him in the slot. The running back experiment, in my opinion, it needs to be Khalil Mullins, Jordan Marshall. Like, let's just roll with that. Put Donovan Edwards in the slot, and they can be a mismatch nightmare. I mean, he can occasionally touch it. Like, let him be a weapon. Like, don't just put him at running back, because the problem with Donovan Edwards is he's too he's too linear, right? He doesn't have the shiftiness. His vision's not quite there. Although I will say, though, he did start playing with a little more I don't want to say effort, but a little more power, and he was starting to get 5-6 yard runs. But Khalil Mullins is obviously the back that seems to be the most capable at the moment. So and John, don't forget Drufus left a super chat too. Let's hit on that.
Yeah, we're rolling. Well, TJ, my guy, got screwed. We mentioned that one, but I'm going down the list here. Because we got 4 more.
No, okay, my bad.
Yeah. Okay. So there's Alicia for $1.99. Then there's Detective Loki, who did a gifted membership.
Hold up. Let's give a shout out to Alicia.
Alicia again.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out
Alicia. I'm going down the list. Yeah. Cam Brand is a dog.
Hey, Look, definitely got in the rotation. I know Juju's gonna be happy. I don't know if he's in the chat or not, but he'll be happy to see that because he's a big Cam Brant fan. But yeah, I mean the rotation looks good. The defense looks good. The depth looks good. We got an Amir Hall sighting. He laid a big hit. Jaden McBurrows got burned on that one play for the touchdown. But yeah, I mean, look, the defense looks nasty, nasty. And then Drufus here with he was just clarifying in his super chat earlier. He says, I was talking about the roughing the passer. You're right. Yeah, that was some bullshit. Even the announcers called that out, right? They were like, what are we doing? And then like the penalty on Jayshawn Barham when the guy took his towel and then Barham just, by the way, Barham looks like a monster, bro. Like he is as advertised. Like everyone was talking about how he was like a monster in fall camp. He was all over the place. No, he didn't get the sacks, but like he was a disruptor. He looks like a freak on the field. I'm so glad we got him from Maryland. But yeah, I mean, no, the refs were some sketchy calls there for sure. I mean, some sketchy calls.
For sure. We got 5 more super chats here.
Hey,
so
well,
you get a
Nick.
flip. Refs like Oprah tonight. There was some laundry. You get a flag. You get a flag.
Exactly. There was some sketchy, there's some sketchy calls. Like I don't think there was any biases going on. It's just typical ref bullshit where they're just, I don't know, man. It can't be an easy job, but it can't be that hard either.
Alicia with another $4.99 sticker.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia. We really appreciate that.
We do.
Scottish $4.99. I think it could have been a better run game, and this is also point number 3 out of our 5. So let's tackle it right. I think it could have been a better run game. Khalil Maulings, I think, was a little bit more productive than Edwards. You are 1,000,000% right about that. He absolutely was.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what was up with Donovan Edwards tonight, but it reminded me of early last year Donovan Edwards.
Yes. I don't know. It's very sad to see because we know what he went through last year psychologically. We know he had a hard time with that. I do think he's going to get more chances, more opportunities. But, I think I'll say this, though. It's on the coaches to put him in the best position to succeed. And it's not just handing the ball to him. Now, they did try to throw the ball. They did try to do some end arounds. But, put this kid in the slot. Let him be a weapon. We know what he can do with the ball in his hands. Put him in positions to succeed. Now, listen, there does come a point where the player has to take the responsibility and make it happen, but we have seen him make it happen. That's the thing, right? So in my opinion, and I did state this earlier, I would like to see a running back led by Khalil Mullins with some Jordan Marshall and some Ben Hall, and then put Donovan Edwards in the damn slot and let Colson Loveland move around as well with some Marlon Klein, and then, Tyler Morris, Samaj Morgan. That's kind of what it is. I didn't see anything from Fred Moore tonight. Not saying he can't be the guy, and not saying he can't be an option in the future, but use your weapons. And again, though, I do need to qualify. The playbook is not open yet. There's so much more to this playbook. Now, we better see it against Texas, though, because it's not the game to mess around. They know, though. It will be open. It will be.
And we were talking on text. I do believe the final drive,
I agree,
was not intended to be a Fresno State drive. I think those plays were supposed to be for a future game, aka Texas. But they wanted to win the game.
I think a lot of that second half was, I mean, you could see the difference between what they were running in the first half and then the second half. And then another thing, and I guess I should look at our points coming up, but what they were doing with Orgy, man, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's so predictable. Come on, guys. Let's do better.
Well, why don't we hit so we'll go Mr. Jones, and then we'll talk about rotation in general, not just Orgy, but all the rotation. But Mr. Jones with the $4.99. I'm just hoping this game being tough works to this team's advantage going forward. That's the hope. It was a tough one. We predicted it would be tough. Caleb Nail came on and warned us. And I predicted 27-13. It turned out to be 30-10. It's not a shock that this first game would be a tune-up game. So it was a bit of a shock, the run game issues. That to me was a shock.
I'd like to add to that too. It is better to learn from your wins than your losses. So hopefully the boys can learn from it. I mean, they will, right? They will. At least we got the victory. Listen, the final score looks good, but we understand what led to that final score. We understand that it needs to be better. We saw what a championship caliber team looks like now. I think we all need to um, I don't want to say we need to be more cautious about it. Like I guess what I'm trying to say is we're a good team. We got work to
Mhm.
do though. Like there's work. There's a lot of talent on this team. There's a lot of bright spots, but there's a lot of areas that really need work. And we'll get into that. Like there's some positives with Davis Warren, but there's certain things that need to
Sure.
happen for Davis Warren to succeed. Like the offensive line has to protect Davis Warren. That's the only way that will ever succeed. If he does not have time, it's almost like the Lions with Jared Goff, because we didn't see Davis Warren use his feet tonight. You know what I mean? Like he literally was locking in on wide receivers. But again, with time and repetition, time on task, he will improve. That's the thing, is Davis Warren will get better week to week. But yeah, I mean the boys got work to do, man. They got work. They better work quick. We got 1 week.
Yeah. And you bring up a good, and I agree with you. Davis had some good moments. I don't think this was all on him. I'm not going to be an Ohio State fan and blame everything on the quarterback, because, in fact, I actually thought, given what happened, Davis Warren did for his first ever game, thought it was solid. I mean, it wasn't nothing that to like blow the doors off, but he went 15 for 25, 118 yards, a touchdown, a pick. I mean, for his first ever start, I think there were definitely greater issues. It wasn't great, but I think the biggest, like we're talking rotation, and the biggest point of rotation that was the most obvious was the rotation of Davis Warren and Alex Orji, and how they utilized Alex Orji. Everyone and their mama knew when Alex Orji went into that game that it was going to be most likely a run play. He passed like twice, but it was most likely going to be a run play. And between that and just taking Will Johnson out was weird, and taking Jair Hill out, and like all across the board, the rotation to me made me scratch my head. And TJ, do you think it was because they wanted to see what they had before Texas, or do you think that there was some other strategic reason why they did it?
No, I think it's a few things. Well, I do think they are trying to see what guys have. I do think they're doing that. I think they're definitely practicing in game, but I also think this could be an approach, and we need to be careful. And I think they will also learn from it. They appear to want to keep guys fresh, right? That appears to be a philosophy they want to have. But I think we saw they better be careful. They better be real careful. And then to our callers on the line, by the way, we're gonna get to you guys real soon here. We got one
we're
more
just
point to
knocking
get through.
through. Yeah,
We'll,
we have one more point. We've got a leaders and best award and a couple more super chats, and then we'll do calls.
we'll get to the calls. Thank you for holding on.
Yeah, thank you. Grateful to have a tune-up game before Texas. And look, I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect Fresno State either by saying that. But they are at a different level of football. And but they played their ass off, and kudos to their quarterback. And look, they played like they weren't supposed. Like they heard that they were supposed to lose, but they didn't listen to that. They played to win, and
Of course.
So it was a tune-up game in a sense compared to playing a playoff team next week. But still, it allowed us to kind of see what Davis Warren could do to an extent, see where the defense was, and maybe make a call that the starting running back needs to change. That might have been something that this game will wind up doing.
We saw that. I mean, I think we saw that in the game. Khalil Mullins definitely led he's RB1 now, in my opinion. I know that's crazy to kind of like come to that conclusion so quickly, but I think you saw it in the game. There was a point, John, where I texted you. I said, "Is Edwards hurt? Like he's gone."
Yeah.
Like they're not using him. It is what it is. Hopefully they can he's talented, he has ability. Hopefully they can find a role for him.
Hey, we got Moose with 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you.
So congratulations. Thank you to Moose, and congratulations to the 5 people who are now gonna be those who stay will be champions members for 30 days. You get the emojis. It's Steven Solomon, A. Schraub, Harry Frazier, who else? SG, and one more. I'm trying to scroll to see it. Shane M. So all five of you are now, those who stay will be champions members. Thanks to Moose. Everybody throw some mooses in the chat if you have the moose emoji.
Yeah, and I just want to say, John, we are $13 away from going another hour. So,
damn.
So everyone contributing, thank you very much. We didn't really discuss this on the show, but for every $100 we get from super chats and memberships or super stickers, we go another hour. So if you guys want us to go 24 hours, we'll do that. But of course, we appreciate everyone's contributions, and it means a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia, and it's great to see new super chatters. I don't think I'd seen Alicia before either.
No,
$4.99. Thank you, Alicia. I think we should roll with Orgy. He wasn't able to settle in with only 2. Oh, I'm so sorry. And he offers more, and it's Elisha. My bad. I will remember that for future super chats.
Yeah, Elijah Bowman, got you.
Elijah Bowman. Thank you so much. And you're right. Well, I don't know.
What's it on that though? You know, he thinks,
yeah.
You know, we should roll with Orgy.
Elisha thinks that Orgy should. I'm assuming that Orgy should be QB1.
Here's the thing, though. We got a little sample, right, on that roll out to the right, where he totally threw that ball into the dirt. There's a reason why. There's a reason why that every time he was on the field, he ran. Okay, there's a reason why the coaches are not giving him the responsibility to make throws outside of that first touchdown pass. And I think we saw it. And I'll be honest, like, you try and do that against Texas. I don't know if Orgy, listen, I like Orgy. And I do think Orgy needs to be implemented into the offense. But the problem is when they throw Orgy into the offense, it's a run. Now, can you catch a defense sleeping with that? I mean, you should be able to do it every now and then, but not if you're throwing it in the dirt on the rollout. Like, that can't happen. That just kills it down. I am sure Orgy will get some more. I mean, he will. They're going to use him more, but yeah, it was concerning, and they didn't give him opportunity, and there's a reason for that. It's not because he's Dan Marino,
Yeah, I mean, Warren apparently was doing high 80s. So Davis Warren was in the high, and Sharon Moore confirmed that he was like 89, 90, according to Sharon Moore. So that's pretty. So that tells me that it's not that Alex Orgy lost the job as much as Davis Warren won the job with just superior pass consistency in practice.
I agree with that, but I'm gonna be real here. Orgy didn't look like he could handle this job. And I'm Team Orgy.
Yeah.
Okay, like, we're just being real here. Like, I don't feel confident in him carrying the torch right now. Like, now, can he prove me wrong? Can he show that he can? Listen, I'm going to tell you, there's a reason why the coaching staff did not dial up more passing plays for Orgy. It's not because he's capable. It's because they also are concerned, and I'm starting to think what we were getting out of camp might have been a little, I don't know. Cause listen, every source had it. Even mine said that Orgy was playing really well as he was going through progressions. Listen, even Davis Warren was locking in. He wasn't going through his progressions. Now, listen, there is a difference between going against your defense, and what your defense runs, right? You also know people's tendencies. So maybe Warren and Orgy got comfortable because they kind of know our defense, right? Well, when you're facing live bullets, just like Mike Tyson said, as everyone has a plan until you hit in the mouth. I kind of feel like Warren, his first game starting, little deer in the headlights. He did lock in on receivers. He wasn't going through progressions. We saw that. But again, time on task, more repetitions. They will get better. This is obviously, we are seeing the results of a team that has a lot of new starters.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Scottish, $4.99. I don't know what happened in the last one. I thought Mullings was more productive than Edwards. My keyboard messed up.
Okay.
Well, you're right.
Thank you.
We
Scottish,
got what you meant, Scottish, though.
Yeah, but Mullins, definitely. Mullins looks to be RB1 to me. If I had to call it, he's RB1 right now.
Yep, I agree. And I'd like to see Jordan Marshall a little bit and see what he can do.
And Ben Hall. Let me see some Ben Hall.
Yep. Ben Hall, absolutely. Nick, O-line was ass early last year. This is another point that I had, but they'll improve. This is a point I think I was telling you, Moose, some others, when we were chatting about this. Like, the O line the first game is never really that great for us. It usually takes a few games with the same personnel grouping to gel and you even started to see it happening towards the end of this game.
Yeah.
It just took some time.
Yeah, and we have surpassed $100, by the way, so we're definitely going.
Woo!
Yeah, we're
We are
definitely going around.
going
So thank you to
another hour.
everybody. We know you work hard for your money, so we greatly appreciate that. It means a lot to us on the channel, me and John. So thank you very much.
Holy crap. All right, let's
Yeah,
and
they're
I hope
coming in.
all our colors
Callers,
understand we want
we're
to honor
coming.
the super
Yeah,
chats, but
yeah,
we will
yep.
get there. So
Especially
yes,
B-Dub.
so
I miss you, man.
yeah, B dope. So Elisha, I believe that's right. Bowman 499. My only problem with Warren is he reminds me of Cade, elite
Okay.
D line, and he will fold.
Okay. So all right, I hear your point, but I will say this. Here's would be my counter, Elijah. I think actually I don't think I'm fairly confident Warren is a better passer than Cade. Warren has a better arm. He has more power. Now, what I will say is, and this is where maybe you're coming from. I see a lot of locking in on wide receivers. I see a little bit too much dink and dunk. I don't disagree with that, but I do think Warren has a strong. Actually, I don't think I'm. I feel like I'm extremely confident in saying his arm's stronger. He has a way stronger arm. He seems to be even more accurate. I do think Warren is a step above Cade. Okay. I think he's a
I
step
agree.
above Cade and
I
probably a
agree with you.
step and a half below JJ. Okay. So that's kind of where I'd put Warren. Um, I think Warren can be a good quarterback, but for Warren to succeed, that offensive line needs to protect him and give him time. Okay. That's what needs to happen. Now, next week, you don't got time. So they better figure it out. They got a week to get it together. And listen, hey, they know. Trust me, they're in that locker room right now. That scores 30-10, but they know. They know they got to play better.
Absolutely. Elisha, you've been amazing today already. Thank you. Honestly, I think we should roll with Orgy. He offers more for what we do well and keeps the defense on their heels. They didn't let him settle in. It's fair.
So
It's a fair point.
listen, there was a point in the game where I said we should put Orgy in. I don't disagree, but like I after seeing him throw that ball in the dirt and seeing the coach's reluctance in giving him more passing plays, I feel they don't have confidence in him. Even though out of camp there was word that Orgy was playing good and he improved as a passer. That's what happened out of fall camp. I got updates from people I know that were saying the same thing, but like the reality is it didn't show in the game. Now, do I think they're gonna I'll tell you this though, Elijah. If they weren't going to give him that opportunity against Fresno, I don't think they're going to give it to him in Texas. It's too much is going to be on the line. It's going to be Warren's show. Now, maybe after Texas game, we'll see. But next week, you better believe everything's on the line. They're all in. They got to get that victory. So we will see. We will see. I mean, listen, I'll say this too. Another thing that I realized tonight, a lot of battles are still going on. That center battle's not done. I would say right tackle. Evan Link has that. That seems to be the thing. But
He's got that
Crippen,
on lock, it feels
yep,
like.
yep. Crippen and Judice are battling, and it does appear that Warren's not. I wouldn't say Warren has. I don't think the coaches are like, well, he's got it. I mean, listen, I think it's still an Alex Orgy Warren battle, and practice is going to matter. And then the other battle is Cleo Mullins and Donovan Edwards right now. I mean, that's just what it is. So
absolutely, yeah, these battles are going to continue, and
yeah,
we will be previewing all of this Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern with Matt Miller from the Texas Longhorns Live and the Texas channel at the Voice of College Football. We're going to be diving into all of this, including the Texas of it all.
He was talking shit, bro.
He was talking shit already.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's all right. We're gonna beat him. F him, dude.
Moose, moderator, member, contributor, major part of our of what makes us go with the 5. TJ, I think there's a reason also. I don't think the coaches trust him throwing the ball.
I agree. That appeared to be the case. From the evidence, the sample size we had tonight, it looked that way. It really did. Which is surprising to me because a lot of the intel out of camp from week 1 all the way to week 4 was he was an improved passer. He was going through progressions. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm a little surprised by the outcome of myself. I expected a little more there.
Absolutely. Likewise. Elisha, $1.99. Thank you. Edwards just can't run through the tackles like Corum. Facts. Tonight, at least. Tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not always. I mean, he obviously looked good against Washington doing that. I don't know what's up. He shows up for big games, and then these types of games, we don't see him as much.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah, I don't
Jones.
know. Listen, with
Yeah.
Donovan Edwards, I just don't think the role is. I think he needs to be used as an offensive weapon. I think he needs to be used in the slot. I just don't. I'm not sure. He's too straight line. He's too linear, man. He's not elusive enough. He seems to also have a hard time with his vision. He's not hitting the holes, right? He's not shifty enough. He's a little stiff in a way. He's extremely athletic. He's extremely fast, extremely quick, but he just has a hard time finding the hole and also being patient enough for holes to develop. I will say this though. The offensive line did not, especially in the beginning of the game, did not give enough push, especially when Judice was in the game, for Edwards to succeed. That's the thing too. Like
Yep.
I believe, John. You tell me if you disagree, and I'm interested. I'm interested to our callers. So just we are getting a lot of super chats, guys. So thank you to all the super chatters, and thank you for all the callers hanging on. But I'm interested to get all of our callers' take on it. But like,
Yeah.
it just appeared to me that the offensive line made the day harder for not only Edwards but Warren in the beginning, and it's a little to be expected. You have 5 new starters, man. Like they need time to gel. They just do. We just saw the repercussions of 5 new offensive linemen.
It's true. So this will be the last one that we take for right. We have a bunch more super chats, but then I know the Bull's been waiting a while, so we can go back and forth.
We'll get to him, then we'll hit some more super chats. We appreciate you guys throwing those at us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Mr. Jones, $4.99. Think the mentality plays a part into this also. They expect to practice again. Fresno mindset should be different next week. Yeah, mentality. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're figuring it out, like we said.
Yeah. Hey, John, take it. Let me tally this up so we can have an accurate number here. So just take it right now.
Okay.
I'm going to tally up these super chats.
Yeah, no, I think that you're right, Mr. Jones. I think that mentality is huge when it comes to this. And they're figuring a lot out. The rotations we kind of attributed to they want to see everybody. Like Kendrick Bell played. I didn't think he was going to play, but he played. We saw rotations at cornerback. We saw rotations at quarterback. At Alex Orji being thrown in on second down. People were getting rotated all over the place, and I think that they're trying to find out what they really have before they play a team that was in the college football playoff last year. So,
yeah. Well, okay. So regarding Kendrick Bell,
yeah.
Listen, we heard out of camp that he was looking good, and he looked good, man. Like I'm extremely excited for Kendrick Bell's future. I mean, I definitely saw some Ronnie Bell in him. So it's exciting to see. Listen, I thought Samaj Morgan looked okay. I thought Kendrick Bell looked good. I thought Tyler Morris showed a little bit. It's really, to me, it just comes down to the offensive line of Davis Warren. I do think the wide receivers need to get a little more separation. I don't think we saw a lot of separation from some of the receivers. And then Colson Levin played great. We didn't see anything from Marlon Klein, though. Nothing from Marlon Klein, which surprised me. All the hype out of camp, and there was just nothing tonight.
Yeah, for sure. We do have a couple of Twitch viewers. So we are broadcasting not just on YouTube, but we're also broadcasting on Twitch. So we really appreciate people. And echoing what we've been saying all night, it's about the line.
I agree. The offensive line needs to make the job easier for the running backs. There's definitely times where those holes are not opening up. They're not doing their job. But there was also times where the offensive line was really gelling. So it's just, again, they got to get used to each other. It's unfortunate, but it's just reality that we have a very tough opponent next week. Another group of 5 would have been great. Like, I do think if we had 3 non-conference group of 5s, we'd be in a far better position going into our USC game. But it is what it is right now. Guess what? That's life. We got to man up. So it's up to the boys to get it together. We got a week to do it.
And with that said, let's take a call, shall we? So we've got one of our YouTube members. The Bull is in the house. The Bull, always great to see you, man. Go Blue. What did you think?
Go Blue. Man, there was a lot. There's a lot to talk about, right? I mean, so much. I mean, where to start? I mean, it was the most. It was just so weird. Like you're watching it, and you watch the first half, right? And you're just like, this is. Oh, this is a practice. Like we're just practicing right now. Like why are we practicing live? I don't get it. You want to try? It just was so weird. It was so weird. Just the rotations and like we don't like that guy. Let's pull him out. Let's put him in. All right, now we're gonna we're gonna sub out Hill and Johnson and put in Hall and McBurnell's. I think it was McBurnell's, or I don't know who the other one was. And I'm just like, what is happening? And then they drive down the field and they're like, oh, he's eventually going to go. And I'm like, what is transpiring right now? And Judice, I honestly was getting a little upset, especially, dude. Like that was very upsetting, right? The whole fourth down play, that was very upsetting. I got what he was doing up to that point, right? They're like his communication is great. He knows what's going on. That's fine and all, dude. But I'm depending on old man strength to pop in at some point. And Crippen showed that to be like, okay, you know what? I may not be the best communicator, but I'm at least going to block this motherfucker going forward, right? And you're like,
well, what's crazy to me is, listen, Judice was going against Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham.
Right.
So what was he doing in practice to give these coaches that confidence? Like Judice he wasn't bad every snap, but in the snaps that mattered, he wasn't, that was that 31. That you can't, like, he got pushed back, bro. Like I haven't seen a center at Michigan get pushed back like that since like Brady Hoke era. You know what I mean? Like that was bad. So, we had Cesar Ruiz in the early Harbaugh days, right? So like, I don't know, man. It was interesting. Like I was thinking to myself, like, okay, if he's playing well against, because that's the word out of camp, right? Is Judice was playing well against Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. If you're playing well against those dudes, you could probably go up against anybody. I don't know, man. I mean, it's Fresno State. Some of these defensive linemen were like 270. So yeah, man. In my opinion, it's Crippen's job. Although they did put Judice back in the game in the third.
They did
we'll see.
I saw that in the fourth. Yeah, they put him back in. Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I felt so relieved, dude. I was living so high at the end, man. Where Will Johnson, he's like, man, dude, I'm gonna be honest, man. I've been chilling. Okay, I thought people would leave me the fuck alone today, and it is not happening. And I was just gonna relax today, and y'all be picking on me, y'all be fucking with me. You know what? Hold up, hold my phone, and then just boom, right at the end. It's like because I mean everyone was talking about it. Obviously, Michigan podcast obviously is his pessimistic, but sometimes like, man,
he is emotional, ain't he?
He is.
Yeah.
He is, and I'm tracking his stuff. And I'm liking his stuff, but still, I was like, it was nice to see that. I was like, okay, Will Johnson still's got it. Like he's like, dude, you know what? No, dude, we ain't gonna don't poke the bear, right? That's what Blackstone said. Don't poke the bear too many times. I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, I will say this though, slightly. I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say slightly concerning, not slightly concerning, but interesting that he got burned a few times. He definitely.
Yeah, I was upset because I'm like, bro, you're healthy. Yeah. Like last year you were doing just fine. Yeah. This year, I didn't I don't know what his philosophy was going into this game. I'm assuming he was like, you know what, I want to stay healthy. He's playing 9 yards off the ball, right? He's not playing. His receiver most of the time was 9 yards in front of him, which is fine. You can do what the fuck you want, as long as you do, stop him, do whatever. But he was playing really deep, and he was just letting stuff progress in front of him and keeping it in front of him and keeping it in front of him. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I guess the receivers were seeing that, and they were checking him like, okay, I'm double move. Okay, double move. And you're like, oh, shit. And I think twice he got burned on double moves. So, yeah.
One was bad. Yeah, the one where the quarterback missed the wide receiver in the end zone.
Yep. Shit. Yep.
He got burnt. Yeah,
he did.
Whatever though. First week, amnesia. I don't even remember it. We're moving on to week 2. It didn't even happen. Will Johnson.
What was that? Yeah. There was. I guess there was a game. Sure.
All American. 3 to 10's all I know.
Will Johnson had an interception. I choose to remember that. That was great.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and oh wait, one thing I didn't talk about. I'm giving the Leaders and Best award tonight
Yeah.
to the kicker,
Big
Dominic
leg, bro.
Zvada, 3 for 3, and he had a 55-yarder, which was his longest field goal since 2022.
That's
Congratulations.
MVP, bro. Transfer
We-
portal
we-
MVP.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, maybe. I don't know. We got some good portal pickups, but
I know Barham.
listen, we talked about it on the Tuesday live show on the fall camp update that we have an NFL kicker, and he did not disappoint, bro. Like he isn't that he's going the NFL, man. That's an NFL kicker. Hell of a leg. I mean, he's booming that ball, bro. Like
I agree.
I may have to like get his Zavada jersey or something because I mean,
But-
he may lead the team scoring, bro.
I know, right? No, but I'm gonna be honest. So to address like the two things, I think that I just want to address the quarterback thing,
Yeah,
sure.
which then flows through the offensive line to then running backs. Like,
well, let's hit it. Let's hit it, Beto, because we got some callers on the line. So
yeah. So I think with Warren, you have to have Warren in there, quite honestly, because of what you're going to see, right? You're going to see these linebackers crash in. You're going to see this stuff coming. Now, you could think counterintuitive, be like, okay, well, if you put Orgy in, he can run with it or pass. Yeah, but that's the thing, though. If they're like, well, if he can't pass quickly, it's not going to happen, right? If he can't hit a quick tight end or a quick slot receiver, then that's what it's going to be. You're going to have confusion on the front line because now you got 5, 6 people in your face. You got Crippen / Judice trying to figure out, is this guy coming? Is this linebacker coming? Is he not coming? I have no idea. They just twisted and they failed. So it's like that's not good. So you almost have to have a pass adequate quarterback in there to get the ball out quickly because they're thinking it's run a lot of the times. They're stacking the box, and you have to throw the ball. And if you can't throw it quickly and accurately, then we're not going to succeed because that's just our MO. And JJ did very well in that facet, and that's what you have to have. We have to have a throwing quarterback, right? So
yeah, I saw a little deer in headlights, man. Yeah, I think
Yes.
first start. I think that's what we saw to Davis Warren. I will say, listen, I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the chat who would say there were not some passes that wowed them a little bit. I mean, he definitely has some zip on the ball. It appears anything that's third level, he's not. He had tried the first one and he got bit with the interception. Most of his stuff was first level, second level. I think we got to again, we got Texas next week though, so it's gonna be hard to learn, but he needs a little more time. And these guys, the reality is we need more time with these kids, man. Like the offensive line needs more time. Davis Warren needs more time. I mean, here's where I will agree with Michigan podcast. The not recruiting of an elite QB for those 2 cycles is biting us at the moment. Thankfully we have Brady Hart committed for 2026. We also have Jaden Davis in the pipeline, right in the pressure cooker right now. We do have some quarterbacks coming. It's just because we went all in on Dante Moore and struck out, with Bryce Underwood as well. It just is what it is. And they didn't go portal shopping. So, so here we are. We got Davis Warren. We got to make the most of it. It's up to the coaches to make it happen, though.
And like I said, close to offensive line and just to hit on I think the biggest thing is the Donovan Edwards, Khalil Mullings thing. I always saw it, and I always knew something that Donovan Edwards, if he's the only option, he has to get used to getting hit and falling forward, and he has to get used to that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Donovan Edwards likes to get hit. I don't think he likes to get hit. I think this guy is like a dragster. He's like, I just want to hit this motherfucking hole and go. All right. And that's what he's always done, honestly. If you really think about it, from championship to Ohio State, down the sideline and shit, this motherfucker, he's a dragster. He likes to go and he doesn't like to get hit. Now he did in 3 seasons ago, right, where he had to, where Corum was out and he was like, all right, I'm the bell cow. Fuck it, we're gonna do this, and he had to get hit, and I was surprised, and he did very well. But I think these last 2 seasons, especially last season, him just especially being in the whole receiving back and just third down back kind of setup, I just don't see that him doing very well. I feel like in that aspect, I think he's more of a screen back, like you said, maybe put him in the slot, an end around, something like that. He just seems like that's just who he is as a person. He doesn't want to get hit. He wants to shit, like you said, his vision. Again, we're talking about his vision again. That was this problem all last year, right? So it's like, and the offensive line ain't gonna help him because they're just trying to figure out their shit together. If anything, they're just holding on to people, which surprisingly there was not a hold on Loveland in some of those running plays in the fourth quarter with Mullins, where Mullins was like, I'm just gonna he had to bounce it outside a couple times, and he ran through some people and bowled forward.
That's why, though, they need to put him in a position to succeed. I agree with you. He needs to be in space. They need to get creative. Like that's like Kirk Campbell needs to get creative with this damn offense. This was a lot of
in the slot.
Yeah, like figure it out, man. Like do play action with Donovan Edwards and Colson Loveland.
Yeah,
like,
but again,
Bull, do you have a Bull? Sorry, we got a lot of shit to a lot of people to get through. Final thought for us, and if you want to share, where can people find you too? You can do that.
You don't have to find me. Fuck that. I put my own shit out there. I like you guys' shit. I repost your shit. You don't gotta find me. I ain't like
listen,
that.
B-Dub.
Find moves.
You've been MIA, man. I was like, where happened to him, bro?
I've been recruiting hard in NCAA 25, man. I've been getting 17, 25 stars, man. So it's hard, bro. It's hard work.
Yeah, you gotta win the natty, bro. I get it. I
gotta win that natty, bro. But no, I think we better hope and pray for Texas. I think it's a lot of work that's got to get done, and sadly, Texas is here. It'd be great if we were running the ball down their throat from the rip. That was not the case, and it took a while. And then, I think you figured some stuff out, right? Running back, I think Mullins, Warren probably is your best bet. And then I feel fucking comfortable as fuck, dude, with our defense, dude. That secondary, dude.
Oh, it's nasty.
Good luck, Ewers, dude. Like, I just don't see it happening. We're gonna pick his ass off. I would assume at least once or twice.
The way they were doing that zone blitzing, bro, confusing the quarterback and shit. Oh,
dude, the safeties, man. Page.
Although they better stop doing that rotation, putting these 4-string corners on islands, though. That needs to. No more of
that. That was a bad call. If you're gonna all out blitz 6 people, was it 6 to 7 people right there in zone 0, right? And just put McBurrows right there, and you would think because he was somewhat seasoned that he was good to go. Nah, that wasn't it, right? That wasn't it. Maybe learn your lesson from that. Like, you know what? Barham can do just enough damage as is.
Barham could do plenty. I mean, otherwise, why you go get him from Maryland if you're not going to make him an impact player, right? So
how can a guy that size run so fucking fast?
He did make plays.
He was a disruptor. I mean, he's a monster.
He was.
Straight up.
He's so fast. And his size is stupid. But yeah.
But hey, B-Dub, I want to thank you for calling in, man. We got to line, as you know, we got to line up right now. So let's get to our callers. But I appreciate you, B-Dub. Don't be a stranger, bro. How about this? Put the controller down, bro. We're here for you on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. We're here for you, man.
I listen to you all the time, dude. I was just like, all right, dude. I'll let other people call in and shit. But I was like, dude, I gotta get this recruiting in. I gotta get these championships, man.
I gotta DM these kids, bro.
Dude, DM hard sell, dude. Trying to find out the hard sell. Yeah, that's all good. But okay, peace.
Later, Bull.
Later.
All right, we got Keith Rebar, $5 super chat. Connor Stallion's espionage team. I won $80 on the lottery yesterday. QB play was down today. I liked Orgy's touchdown and especially Warren's late response drive. Yes. Yeah, I think they did a good job of, at the end, play calling a little bit more play action, and I think it played to his strengths very well. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one,
Shout out to Keith winning $80 on the lottery yesterday, man. And thank you for giving us 5 of that, $80. So, appreciate you, Keith. Keith, what's up with Tuttle, man? Where's he at? I'm just messing with you. For those who don't know, those who are new to the program, because we got a lot of new viewers, Keith is he was a supporter of Jack Tuttle, but he's actually a supporter of Michigan. He just wants to see him win. But yeah, shout out to Keith. And we're actually talking to Keith soon, so he'll let us know.
Blue Wolverine in the house, $4.99. I am perplexed by Edwards. He kept running lateral with very little forward motion. I am too. He
tried to win with speed, and maybe the weight gain. It's He added a little bit of weight so he could fall forward and be a little more of an inside the tackle runner. Also in spring game, you look quick. I don't know, man. I'll be honest. You know who else I thought didn't look the fastest tonight was Samaj Morgan. I was like, Samaj Morgan. He's got a little quickness, but he's not a burner.
One or
he's not
two.
burning. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, there seems to be a little lack of speed here right now. I mean, we'll see though. Fred Moore's fast. I mean, we got some burners though. Cole Cabana, he's a burner. Micah Capana's a burner. They're not playing though. But we'll see. We'll see what the boys can do. I think also a little bit of less thinking and more acting will help. I think there's a lot of thinking going on right now. So we'll see what they can do in the next game.
Absolutely. Elisha, one more for us. Thank you for all of your contributions tonight throughout the whole night. That's very nice of you.
Yeah.
$5 here. Davis Warren is a more polished Cade McNamara, but the way OSU blitz now is crazy now. 3rd and 8 is going to be scary moving forward. JJ was elite at 3rd and 8. He was. That's true.
3rd and distance, if we do not stay on schedule, is going to be a stressful time for all of us. Hopefully they can improve on that. Hopefully we can gain trust in that. But tonight, no. I mean, we need to be ahead of the chains, and they need more time on task. That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah, I was thinking this, not so much 2017, Cody, with the 2-month membership, more like 2018-19.
Yeah.
Around the end of Pep Hamilton and beginning of Josh Gaddis. That's what it kind of felt like, but with with better defense than Don Brown was calling. I thought, like Wink Martindale is a far superior defensive coordinator, and specifically the scheme that he built and then Michigan brought in 21 is one of the biggest reasons why Michigan started beating Ohio State finally, because Michigan could finally defend a crossing route. So I think it was closer to not 18-19, but with a much better defense than Don Brown was calling at that time. But we do appreciate your 2 months of membership, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Elisha, another one. I think Edwards was the biggest L tonight. Ooh, the biggest L.
I mean, it was disappointing.
It was disappointing.
I mean, I think the offense as a whole was the biggest L.
I agree.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, we're not Iowa, but shit.
It felt like Iowa in the first half.
It was like, and Cade, and if anyone saw, Cade McNamara had a night tonight. He actually played well for Iowa against, what was it, like Northern Illinois or some crap? Not Northern Illinois. It was some small school, FCS school. But, yeah, I mean, listen, I think the offense as a whole was an L. I do think it got better, but again, I think they opened the playbook up. But Edwards was definitely disappointing. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I'd argue that Judice was actually the biggest L. That was disappointing as hell. I think that really disrupted things early in the game for us.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But Edwards was not a W. Was not a W.
No. Yeah, that was shocking to me because I thought that, so we had predicted Crippen going into. I mean, even on Tuesday's show, I had Crippen as the projected starter on Tuesday, and then I think we learned about Gaudich Wednesday or Thursday, right after. Right after the show. So
we found out about him. No, we had it on Tuesd's update.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Okay. Evan Link made a move in the past week.
Yeah, Evan Link I had on the banner for sure. Yeah.
Judice. I don't know, man.
Judice.
I don't know.
Judice. I'll get that right. AJ Ransom, $1.99. Davis Warren didn't see past his first read tonight.
A lot of locking on his first target. There was
That's fair.
That was a lot. So what's
point.
Interesting is the word out of camp was he was better at progressions. He was better at reads. He had a better feel for the pockets. I really feel like first start, deer in the headlights. I think there was a lot of deer in the live action, live bullets. I think the moment was big for a lot of these. I think the reality of the situation is the moment was big for these kids. First time starters. This is what happens when you lose as much as we did in the offseason. From draft to a little transfer portal. But I do think we have talent. I think the team will. I'm very confident the team will get better. I think we're all realizing though next week we have a hell of a test and we don't have time to learn on the job.
It's true. It's true. We don't have 3 games of cupcakes this time around. It's Texas. So, and you know what they say, don't mess with Texas. So congrats to Railroad Journeys. Railroad Journeys is getting 30 free days of Those Who Stay Will Be Champions membership, thanks to Detective Loki coming in the clutch here.
Thank you, Detective Loki. You're always coming through. We appreciate you, man.
And true Michigan fan has been waiting patiently, and we appreciate that. And now we're going to get to all of our callers lined up. But we did want to thank everybody for their generosity tonight. There's been incredible generosity.
Yeah, it really does mean a lot to us. Thank you.
All right. So true Michigan fan in the house.
What's up?
How you doing tonight?
Good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Go Blue.
Go Blue, man. All right. I know you got a lot going on, a lot of callers. I'm going to try to make this quick. There's probably going to be a lot of people that are going to be mad at me for this because I'm just going to tell you what I saw. And this is, like I said, I'm a competitive fan. Like, I want to see us actually do good. I'm going to support the team regardless.
Sure.
But I look at it through the lens of, we won the national championship last year. I would like to see us get to the playoffs this year and beat Ohio State and do all those things. If it was pre 2021 and like we were wanting to go back to 7 wins, 8 wins, this wouldn't have been a bad night. We might get ourselves back on track, but I really want us to stay where we've been at here the past couple of years. And what this team's got to understand, if they don't already, is every team they play this year is going to throw the kitchen sink at them because they won the national title last year. They got a small taste of that with Fresno State tonight, but it's only going to get worse. Texas is going to throw the kid. Everybody's going to be out for them this year. And honestly, watching this game, now I did have to work a little bit in between, so I didn't get to see every single snap, but I saw the vast majority of it. The only thing that looked completely solid to me was the kicking game. I've heard a lot of people talk about the defense, and I think the front 7 did look good. As far as everybody in the backfield, it was really hit and miss. Fresno's quarterback, he made a lot of good throws. He made throws that they probably shouldn't have been able to make. It got scary at times.
Caleb Nail warned everybody. We had Caleb Nail on Beware Bulldogs podcast, and he warned everybody that it's a potent team. It's not a random FCS terrible program. It's a legitimate.
We knew that. Fresno's one of the top 5 teams. We knew that.
And Caleb came in and he really laid it out for us, and they delivered. I mean, they did it. All credit to them for putting on a good performance. But just on the opposite coin, Michigan should have done better.
They should have, but last year they went 4-4 in the conference. Like, they weren't even a smash mouth team last year in their conference. Now, I knew they were going to be a contender, and this could have been a fluke. But I'll tell you, aside from the defense, the wide receivers for the most part was non-existent. Donovan Edwards, which I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen with him because since he's been at Michigan, he's done that. There's games he'll get up for, and there's games he won't, and you're not going to know until the game starts whether he's going to get up or not. Both of the quarterbacks, to me, neither one of them were up to par with the job. Both of them played like backup quarterbacks, and they're not. They're starting. Both of them are starting right now, but they played like backups. I wasn't impressed at all with either one of the quarterbacks. Now, they made a couple good throws, and both of them performed to an extent. But like I said, considering where our program is right now, and the level we've been at over the past couple of years, this is a downgrade. And we do got to recognize that. And they have got a lot to fix and very, very little time to fix it. If we play like that against Texas next week, we're going to get annihilated. It's not even going to be close. Quinn Ewers is going to throw. We're going to make Quinn Ewers look like Tom Brady. Like
all right. Well, hold on. The defense will do its. All right. So I'm on the same page with you. Offensively, they better get their shit together, because if not, we're not scoring more than 10, 14 points. Defensively, we'll keep Ewers a little bit in check, but your defense can only do that for so long. They will get tired. As much as depth as we have, as much as we rotate, you go against this, and not only that, this offensive line we're about to go against is arguably the best offensive line we will face all year. Okay, they have 4 returning starters. One of their offensive tackles is going to be a top 5, possibly top 10 pick. Yeah, we're going against a legit team. We all know this. Quinn Ewers is no joke. They are reloading at running back, wide receiver, and tight end. They also lost their top 2 running backs, so there is that. But listen, the offense is the issue. I think the defense can keep Texas in check. I think we all agree with that. I would think. Offensively, though, if we do this 3 and out shit, it's gonna be a long night for us. And next call show is gonna be a therapy session.
It's going to be a therapy. And I mean, like I said,
how many more beer, dude?
I mean, I think all of it needs to improve. I mean, like I said, I think the front 7 did a good job, but Fresno, like I said, their quarterback threw it all over the place, and it's Fresno State. Quinn Ewers is one of the best quarterbacks in the country right now. It's going to be way different next week. You know, and I mean, I hope it's not going to be. My big thing is I don't understand why they didn't go in the portal and look hard for a quarterback, because I knew the whole offseason there was a good chance we were going to be in this position.
Yes. Okay. Well, let me hit on that, because you bring up a lot of good points, my friend. Like, you're very tapped in. I'll just say this, okay? Regarding Quinn Ewers, we did not open our playbook. There is far more coverages that we did not show. There's a far more disguised blitzes we did not show. The playbook was not. I guarantee you, 25 to 30% of that playbook was used tonight. There's a lot that hasn't been seen. They are going to get far more deeper in that bag for that week 2 matchup. I promise that. And regarding the portal, you know, I'm sure you've been tapped in. You're aware. Listen, in December with JJ and Jim Harbaugh going through what they went through, we did not know whether JJ or Jim Harbaugh was leaving or going because that's what time, you know, the portal's in December, it closes in January. The decisions were not made up then. And then by the time they made up their minds and the Chargers offered that crazy contract to Jim Harbaugh, the portal was done. We couldn't get to a quarterback, and no quarterback was going to come here. Like we were talking to Dante Moore, no quarterback was going to come here because they were unsure what JJ was going to do. Okay. So then the April portal opened up, and here's why I do agree with you. Michigan should have been more aggressive. And even if there's a kid on a freaking team, you need to offer the money, because that's how this works. These kids are on teams. How this works is there's agents that reach out to Michigan and they say, hey, I'm interested in, I have a player who's interested in entering the portal. You know, are you interested in him? And that's how that works. And then negotiations happen behind the scenes, and then money is discussed. And that's how you get a kid to flip from another school or enter the portal from another school. We did it with Zavada. Zavada didn't come here because he came here and he shut down his recruitment. Okay. Like Michigan plays this game. Every school plays this game. They should have been aggressive with the quarterback, but what Michigan wanted to do, and we're going to find out if it was a good idea or not, they wanted to trust what they had. We'll find out if that was a good decision or not. Right now, it looks like potentially sketchy, potentially sketchy decision.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, and I agree with everything you're saying. I want to say lastly too, this is probably, with everything we've got going on right now in the Netflix documentary, I do think down the road that probably is going to hurt us too with recruitment down the line and transfers and stuff like that, because there's a lot of kids that probably are not sure they're going to want to get their feet wet with Michigan with everything going on right now, and it's probably not even going to amount to anything. But like I said, the main thing with me is, like I said, if we're wanting to win 6 or 7 games right now, the way we looked, it's possible. If we're wanting to beat Ohio State, I mean,
6 or 7, we got a problem.
We got a big problem.
Yeah, then
I mean,
that's way too much talent returning, and way too much talent on this team to go 6 or 7.
But I hear what he's saying, though. I hear what he's like. That's the concern from the fan base. Like, I'm not mad at you, man. I'm simply saying if that's the result, Sharon's on the hot seat. And not only that, the entire athletic department's in trouble, because that is not acceptable. Anything less than 9 wins is literally some bullshit. But if it's 6 or 7, then there's a problem. Like the donors better get their shit together, because here's the thing too, though. So you talked about recruiting. The reality of recruiting is this: if you got the money, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Look at what Auburn's doing right now. Auburn's not a winning team. They're buying every player in the game right now. They got a top 5 recruiting. They're a top 5 collective right now in terms of buying all these kids. There's a bunch of kids that are about to flip, like Deuce Knight from Notre Dame and a bunch of other kids. Elijah Melendez is another one. They just got Nate Marshall from us. They might get Andrew Babaloa. as long as you got the money to play the game, what's going on in your program doesn't matter. Just ask Miami. Okay. Just ask Texas. Although now, don't be wrong. And there's gonna be people watching the show right now, like, we don't want that culture. I hear you. I do, but there's a balance, and teams like Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, even though that's a soft ass program, we know, you can still win if you play the game. They got a $22.5 million budget right now for this year, or 23.5. And listen, they're going to be a good team, even though they're paying every kid under the sky, right? So there is a balance. You just got to find it.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I mean, and I know a lot of people don't want that culture for our program, but unless you want to be like a Clemson, that's the direction you're going to have to go.
How's that going? Right. Well, listen, they play players, but they don't do that transfer portal thing. But like, exactly.
Don't like it. Yeah.
But exactly. How's Clemson doing? Like, they're falling off, man. They're falling off hard. Like, we don't want to be in that position. The reality is you have to evolve with the times, which they are. Michigan's doing a lot better. They're at $12.5 million with their NIL right now. They were at $4.5 million last year. They've tripled it. Their goal is to be at $15 million by December. Like, they're doing good. They're doing good. But the reality is they've swung and missed on some things, like a quarterback right now. And we just have some weak spots. And I think, to be honest with you, there's a little, maybe potentially a little too much confidence in what we have, and not realizing we need to keep upgrading. You know, we can't settle, and it appears it's possible we settled that quarterback.
Yep. And that's all I'll say, guys. Like I said, I'll let y'all go, but I hope we can improve, because we really have a long way to go, and we have almost no time to get there. We've got Texas in 7 days.
No, your concern is heard, man. I just want to, thank you for calling in. It's the first time calling in. We appreciate you calling in. And listen, you bring up a lot of good points, bro. Like, listen, I think a lot of us are feeling what you're saying. We want to reload, not rebuild. Like, that's just reality. We want to be elite in the Big Ten, especially in this new expanded Big Ten, this expanded playoff. We don't want to fall from the mountaintop, and there's no reason we should. We have all the resources in the world. We are arguably the best university in terms of academics, athletics, facilities, everything. We have the donors. We have everything. We have everything we need to succeed. So it's on Michigan to make sure we don't slip.
Yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all. Go Blue.
All right, man. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Hey, John, I'll be right back.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think that was spot on. We absolutely need to be a team that reloads, and the talent is there. The talent that has returned for this year, especially on defense, it's there. And there is a fear that the national championship was really built on that, the 2021 class, 2020, 2021 class. And now in the age of NIL, it's really about making sure we're stepping it up. So with that said, we've got Elisha is back again with a $1.99 super chat. Our wide receivers are scaring me, not going to lie. Jair Hill is a dog. Absolutely. And Elisha, we really appreciate that. Yeah, they're rotating. I mean, look, they're rotating. We saw quite a few wide receivers today, and one of them, obviously, Kendrick Bell. CJ Charleston was put in at various times. We thought that Samaj and Tyler Morris and Fred Moore would be the starters, but they seem to play almost everybody, or at least the people with a lot of game reps or experience. So I think they're trying to figure it out. And the wide receivers did start to make some traction in the second, especially in the fourth quarter. So that gives me a tiny bit of hope for Texas. It does. Beats and Treats ice cream with $1.99. Keon Sabb got 2 interceptions for Alabama. We could have used him. I didn't know that. Was not watching. I only watched like the very beginning of the Bama game, but apparently they crushed it.
I'll say this though. I mean, listen, Keon Sabb's a good player, and we would love to have had him, but did McCarty Page, Quentin Johnson, Will Johnson not handle the back end of the defense?
They did quite a bit.
I think defensively we're okay. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to lose Keon Sabb. I do think he's a good player, but I think we're all right. Like, I don't think we're going to be hurting there. I think offensively is where our concerns lie right now.
Beats and Treats. That might have been. I think that might have been their first super chat too. So we're getting a lot of first time contributors, which is really amazing.
Yeah, fantastic.
So thank you for that, Elisha. Another $4.99. We appreciate you all night long, just contributing, and it means a lot to us, and I hope you know that.
Yeah, it does. We appreciate it, and I just want to also say we are currently $68 away from another hour. So if you guys want to go another hour, we will go we'll go another hour after we hit another benchmark of $68. So again, appreciate all of you for contributing to the channel and hey, we'll keep going. Listen, I'll go 12 hours if I have to. It might be a struggle bus, but hey, we'll do the damn thing.
And Elisha does have a good point here. Or at least it. I don't know if it's the number one problem, but it's definitely a problem. The number one problem, she said, Elisha says, with the offense isn't the QBs or O-line, it's the wide receivers. I think it's definitely a problem. The reason these teams stack the box is because they don't respect the pass. You're right about that.
I'll say this. If I had to rank the problems, and Elijah's right in the sense like there was multiple variables at play tonight, right? If I had to rank it though, I'd say offensive line number 1, number 2 quarterback. Okay. And the reason why I believe that is because I think if we had last year's offensive line with this quarterback, I think Davis Ward would be able to be a little more comfortable in that pocket. I also think, again, time on task will help Davis Warren. And then third, I would say wide receivers. Separation, what was going on, But actually, to be honest though, too, what about the play calling? Like, are we putting too much on the players right now? Because I think we'd all agree, like when they started doing that rotation with Alex Orji, wholly predictable. Predictable, bro. Like
everybody
I knew he
knew
wasn't
it was going to
throwing
be
it.
a run.
And then not only that, like putting us in like third and longs by doing that because he was coming in on second down. Listen, Kirk Campbell, Sharon Moore, do better, boys. Come on. You can do better. I know you can. Let's do better.
Yeah, I think this is what Les was alluding to, not talking enough about the coaches. We did in the beginning. There's just so much to cover, but now we just did again because you're right. I mean, the play calling, the rotations was one of our first points that it was too much rotating. When Will Johnson's not on the field, that's a problem on defense. And just the quarterback thing, putting Alex Orji in for second down, and he's going to almost every single time he ran the ball. And you saw that last year too. Anytime he was in, he ran the ball. Does it work some of the time? Yeah, but it becomes really predictable. And if this is going to continue through game 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., teams are going to be ready for it. When they see Alex Orji in the game, they're going to be stacking that box and making sure there's a spy to watch Orji.
Dude. And they were like when they put Orji in, right? They started stacking the box, and then he audible to a run. Dude, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, and now the more film they have on this, Texas, like, we're not fooling anybody. Like, there is no we know what Orji is going to do. Texas is when Orji comes in the game, as unfortunate as this is, I know Elijah is probably doesn't want to hear it, but when Orji comes in the game, they're going to dare him to throw. Which, hey, on Orji to make them pay, right? But they're gonna challenge Orji next time he comes in the game. You better believe that.
Absolutely. Blue with the $2. Hit the like button for our kicker's right foot.
Hey,
leaders and best kicker. Award.
That kid's getting drafted. Dude. That kid is getting
100%.
Drafted. His leg is legit.
Absolutely true. Moose with the 5. We're definitely chipping away at that 68 now. With the 5, Oregon 24.
48 away from another hour. 48 away from another hour.
$48, guys, and we're going hour 3.
Yeah, it's hour 3.
Oregon 24, Idaho 14. Call it. This, I really whiffed. I whiffed on this one hard because on last night's show that I did, the Big Ten Huddle with JR, I said Oregon Idaho might be one of the largest margins, and it was a 10-point game. Call us that team out west. That's right, Moose. That's what they were saying.
They think they're a blue blood and they haven't won a natty. Clowns, dude. I'm gonna tell you right now, Oregon's going to be the new annoyance. If anyone hasn't interacted with these Oregon fans on Twitter, they might be worse than Buckeyes, man. And I think even Buckeyes, they're realizing how annoying these Oregon fans are. Like I don't know. We have this new it's like Halo. They're the what's that species, the alien species, I can't remember, the plague or whatever, not the plague, but whatever they called them. It's like I forgot what they're called, but that's what Oregon is. Huh?
Yeah.
I haven't played
it
that
was
game
like
in so long.
the division or the something. Anyway, yeah, I know the aliens. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, all right. So on to GT has upgraded his membership.
Oh, snap.
Yep. He upgraded his membership to Connor Stallions Espionage. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Absolutely. Connor Stallions Espionage team.
He just joined like, I don't know, a week or two ago. So shout out to GT. Appreciate you being a part of the community, man.
Dude, that's amazing. And with Connor Stallions Espionage team, not only do you get the emojis, not only do you get to be part of our monthly hangout, but also you get, I put out a call for topics, and I've done it. I'm going to do it again now that GT's joined, and it's just for Connor Stallions people. And so they have input in when I'm creating my outline for the Tuesday night show.
Right.
Anybody on the Connor Stallions tier, if you have a topic idea and it makes sense, like it makes sense to put in the lineup, or maybe it makes sense for another show that we're doing, like that's a suggestion box that's available to you. And you basically help drive the show. So it's huge. And so GT, we really appreciate that upgrade, and go blue to you. More super chats here. Beats and Treats ice cream, another $1.99. And if you own a business, by the way, Beats and Treats, we do appreciate your super chat. We're also gonna ask anybody who's a business or a personal brand or a whatever to consider sponsoring as well here at the Voice of College Football and the Michigan channel. But this is $1.99. At times, our secondary looked cooked. I think there's times everybody looked cooked. I'd say it was more on the offense, but there were times where Fresno State was moving the ball in the air and getting chunks of yards. So I'll give you that.
Hey, Blue Wolverine made a comment about the ad. They're getting ads every 8 to 10 minutes. If that's happening, let us know in the chat. That should not be happening. So if you guys are getting ads every 8 to 10 minutes, please communicate that to us, because that should not be happening. That's not how we have it scheduled at all. So let us know if Blue Wolverine's the only one getting that. Let us know. But if anyone else is having that problem, don't be afraid to communicate that to us.
Yeah. We had set to every 30 minutes, so I don't know what's up with that.
And so even though it's 30, it's not to everybody either. I don't know. It's we have it very limited, to be honest. So it should not be that every 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So another one, AJ Ransom says 8 to 10. He's getting every 8 to 10 too. That's crazy. Okay. Well, we'll definitely adjust the settings. It should not be 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I have an idea on how to change it for the next one. I don't know if it's letting. Yeah. Like I've been trying to change it now, but I don't think it's letting me.
Yeah. So don't ever not communicate that to us, guys. Because we don't know. Like, we're doing the show, we don't know how listen, YouTube is they're difficult. It's not easy to set things. They make it very complicated. We will adjust it though. If you guys are getting ads that frequently, we don't want that.
Yep. All right. And then what else do we have here? We've got Josephine Tracy. Josephine, $5. Texas will double team Loveland next week. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, then Samaj Morgan, Fred Moore, and Donovan Edwards better make them pay. I mean, that's the game. They're going to try and shut down your top players, your X factors. Michigan needs to get creative then. But also, this is why you have Marlon Klein, right? Then Marlon Klein needs to shine. We've heard so much out of camp. They say he's ready to step up. He's a name to know. Then Marlon Klein needs to be a solution. If they do double team, or they bracket or however they handle Colson Loveland, I would expect Marlon Klein, Donovan Edwards to be solutions to that. But we'll see.
So we've got 3 callers lined up. So we've officially caught up on the super chats, and we really do appreciate everybody's. Snap! Oh, we got one more. Okay, being a game man. Thank you, Elisha. Being a game manager isn't the issue, because the greatest QB was a game manager. It's Tom Brady. I'm guessing she's talking about. it's can you convert on 3rd and long, and we were 0 for 5 at half. Yeah.
Yeah, the first 3rd down conversion was the 3rd quarter. Jesus. Yeah, not good. Again, I think in the second half, you guys saw the playbook open up more. Again, I think we all agree, not acceptable, uninspiring. The boys have work to do. It's just the reality of the situation. But I mean, they came out with the win. Now, hey, I'll say this too. Week 2, you get the victory. I think a lot of us will be like, okay, even if it's ugly, I don't care if it's a 1 point David Zavada last second kick to give us the victory. I'll take it. I don't care if it's freaking 17-16, whatever. Just give me the victory next week. I'll take it.
For sure. All right, y'all. Let's get to some calls. People have been waiting, but and we do appreciate.
We are 30 away from a third hour. $30 away from a third hour.
Yeah, so almost at a third hour, guys. So next up, we've got, as I call him, one of our reasonable Buckeyes here at the Voice of College Football, Sean Garner in the house. Sean, I can't give you a go blue, but what was your take on the game today?
Okay, so Michigan was almost a caricature tonight of what I thought they were coming into the season. I mean, just exactly that defensive line. Fresno State's O-line was absolutely helpless. They were hopeless in protection against that interior or against the entire defensive front. You saw Derek Moore and Josiah Stewart, come up with multiple sacks. I think both of them, and Mason Graham was just disrupted the game all night long. Everything and Colson Loveland, showed out, carried Michigan's offense almost.
Yep.
Was probably their only bright spot on offense for the night.
And Mullins. I'd say Mullins got it going in the second half.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then everything I thought,
I'm not afraid of Mullins. He's like, I'm not afraid of Mullins. Yeah.
No, I'm like he's a good back, but he's kind of a ham and egger. He'll get what he's a hard churning guy. He'll get what's right there for him. He's not going to be a game breaker. It's not going to be.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. So, and then everything I thought was an issue coming into this game was probably more alarming than I even realized. I thought there'd be issues at quarterback. I thought there'd be issues on the offensive line. I didn't think you had serious playmakers on the edge. And God, nothing you did tonight persuaded me in the opposite direction at all.
All right, let me ask you this though, Sean. Did you think the team looked better in the second half versus the first half?
Yeah, very marginally. I mean, not. Yeah, I mean, there was. I mean, I thought you had one nice drive offensive. Well, let me see. So you guys, what was the score at halftime? Was it 10-3 at half?
Yeah, 10-3.
Okay. I mean, so yeah, I mean.
Yeah, the first half was very uninspiring. I think we all agree with that, Sean. Michigan fans and Buckeyes can agree that was an uninspiring first half offensively. Defensively, the boys played well. The second half, though, I think the offense played better, but work to do. I mean, I don't think any Michigan fans coming away from this game like, oh, we're good, because we got
no. But I mean, it's also week 1. I mean, we all know this is overreaction. We're all going to say, this is what the team's going to be going forward.
What's your cat's name, Sean?
Lincoln.
What's up, Lincoln?
Lincoln.
He's trying to get some, he's trying to get some camera time right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's a noted camera hog. He's a regular gizmo.
There you go. Oh, okay. That's funny. Yeah. To John.
No, so I mean, Michigan, it is something though. Like 10 new starters on the offensive line, you have to like expect issues. Like, were you guys like? I mean, like, is this? I mean, is this what you expected, or is this a little bit disappointing?
I'd like to get the chat. Let us know what you guys think, but I will speak for myself. John, you let me know what you think, but this was underwhelming. I agree. I thought we definitely were going to have some learning curve and a little bit of a bump in the road, but this was more aggressive of a learning curve than I anticipated. It appears the offensive line is not cohesive yet. It appears the quarterback was a little deer in the headlights. No, I mean, this looks like a team who has a bunch of new starters, which we anticipated, but we thought that they would be a little bit more ready offensively, because defensively we are also replacing a lot of guys, but they look good. They look ready. They're ready to ball. They're national championship caliber defense. I mean, I don't think there's any debate about that. Offensively, though, no, there's a lot of work to be done. Now there's talent, but it's not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you think, John?
I'm disappointed. However, there's also something to be said that if this is the most rock bottom and disappointing, and Michigan's winning by 20, I mean that's also all right. So I think a lot of it is that, you know, and we saw the difference, and we've already pointed this out, that there was a difference in play calling between the first half and even in the third quarter and what we saw in the fourth quarter. What we saw in that drive to that touchdown drive with Davis there, they called a play action. They weren't really doing that. They were calling more misdirection. They were calling. We were talking about this specific play. There was one play that was a trips left or a trips right. I forget which. But then it was actually like they were faking it, that it was going to be a pass, and then they went to the run. Like, that was the kind of stuff they weren't doing as much in the first half, and they started doing more, and it was starting to mess with Fresno State's whole like analysis of what they were doing.
Sean, you would agree Ohio State would do the same thing. When you have a major opponent the following week, you're not going to open the playbook up. Now, I think we have a situation where we have some players who are inexperienced as well as a limited playbook. I think that hit us tonight. But I also think there's no excuse either. The offense should have been more, I don't want to say polished, but more prepared. You know, they did not look like to go with the Gudice thing's blowing my mind. Because, like, he's going against Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. He's going against the best. Like, these dudes one's a definite first rounder. The other one's a potential first rounder. He had to have been holding his own in camp against these guys, which is why they gained the confidence. But tonight, he had his moments where it was not up to par.
No.
Yeah, and some of our commenters in the comments are pointing out to the wide receivers. I agree. I mean, the separation wasn't there. Yeah, I mean, we got work to do, man. I mean, I'm sure Ohio State fans are feeling a little good right now. But I will say this:
this wasn't an over the moon performance from us today against Akron either. So I have my own.
I would say about Will Howard, initially, he was 50% for a long time, and then you guys as well, though. As the game progressed, you guys got a little better. Will Howard got better. He ended up around 60% at the end of the game.
Well, he was plagued by some bad drops early in that game. So I thought he played pretty well today. I give him like a B+ on his performance. Okay. I don't know if you watched the game.
I watched as much as I could. I was in Ohio State. No, I'm just kidding. I just had shit to do, but I
was like, go Zips. And in the beginning there, it was very enjoyable, and then Ohio State did what it did, and
Akron's a different level of opponent than Fresno State. I'm not going to lie about that.
I will say this: Jeremiah Smith was as advertised. I thought he wouldn't do quite as well. I thought he would have more problems with the secondary, and he was as advertised. I know, but I was watching him in practice film, and there were a couple of times when the cornerbacks were getting him, and I don't remember which week it was of practice. I just remember watching some some Ohio State at some point film on it, and but he was very good. And look, you guys need that because Igbuka was kind of right, like like we've seen. So you need that impact receiver. So you did pretty good.
Yeah. Sean, one more point because we gotta get to our next callers, but I want to thank you for calling in, man.
Absolutely.
Again, reasonable Buckeye. We always appreciate those. So yeah, one more point. What else you got for us?
I think you were asking me a question. Sorry.
No. Yeah, what else you got for us?
So I mean, I'm just one thing I do want to say about this is if Davis Warren, if the receivers aren't going to be more effective than they are tonight, it seems to me like Orji just might be a better option, even if you're going to be fairly predictable. I mean, like when Orji comes into the game and runs us Wildcat, he's really good at ball handling. He's really good at running that read option. I mean, like there was that one play where he fooled the cameraman out tonight.
Me. Yeah, he fooled me.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? If all you're really going to be able to do is play ball control and try to control the pace of the game, why not have him as the guy taking the majority of the reps? I mean, if what Davis Warren gave you tonight is what he's going to give you, I don't see the edge in having him at quarterback over.
I'd say all right, so my response would be we need a larger sample size of Orji. There appears to be I'm reading between the lines. I can't say I know for sure because it doesn't match with what we heard out of camp. There appears to be a lack of confidence in him throwing the ball. We did get one example of that where he threw it in the dirt on the rollout to the right.
Yep.
I don't know though. I need a larger sample size.
But also right now, what does Davis Warren give you throwing the ball? What does he really provide?
If Davis Warren if the line protects Davis Warren, he can drive us down the field. He's a step above Cade. Arm-wise, arm talent-wise. Now, in terms of decision-making and going through his progressions, we need to see a little more of that because he definitely locked onto guys. He definitely was on some one-read shit tonight, and it was a little predictable in some of the things he was doing. So, listen, they got work to do, Sean. I mean, I don't think any Michigan fans coming out of this game we're good. No, but I will. I mean, I think there's positives, but I think we're a little behind where we thought we would be. Coming with all the intel out of camp, though, that's what's blowing my mind. Is it wasn't, and that's the thing too, is it wasn't one source. Even on my end, I was getting positive feedback. I know On3 was getting positive feedback. I know 247 was getting. Everybody was, and if there was negative intel, we would hear it. Trust me, On3 would have it. There's other sources out there who would have it. The only negative intel we got out of camp was right tackle. And that was because Gentry was inconsistent, and then Evan Link came up within the last 2 weeks. Outside of that, the intel has been good. It has. So, I mean, it's just, I think a lot of us were surprised. And I'll be real too. I think the coaches were a little overconfident.
I'll just ask this one last thing before I head out of here. This was the first offseason with Sharon Moore as head coach.
Yep.
Do you feel like there's maybe a little bit more of a PR approach with how they leak information possibly out of his camp than there was maybe out of previous previous staff?
With Jim Harbaugh, there was a Fort Knox approach. With Sharon Moore, I'll say this, out of fall camp, there was a lot more leakage of intel, a lot more, way more than past years. I'll say that's for sure. And then in terms of what they're doing with the NCAA, that's a different animal. That's more.
Yeah, I'm not getting into.
You're talking about football.
I'm just talking about football.
No, I don't know if there was. Well, I'll say this. So I have a guy I reach out to. I was getting intel. I wasn't getting my guy's not trying to drive me in a direction. I mean, he's been good. He's only missed. The individual I can contact. He's only been wrong once, and that was Marco Jones. And that was the way that was the way that was trending. Outside of that, I haven't had a miss yet with him. So I don't know. I think honestly, here's what I think. I think in camp, the boys were looking good, and I think another thing too is there's familiarity. There's familiarity with who you go against. You play the same guys all the time. This is why NFL teams like to practice against other teams, right? So this way you don't have that familiarity. You don't get used to patterns and rhythms. again, I keep bringing up the Gudice point. How is Gudice holding up Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham? And then tonight against Fresno State, against 270-pound defensive linemen, he's getting pushed back. What is that? That's
I mean, like that's something to say going like into the future. Like I mean, like possibly like if you hear this kind of intel in the future, maybe there's maybe someone to be a little bit more skeptical about it. And I would also say, like, if you're buying that any quarterback is completing 87% of their passes in live scrimmages against first team defense, that is like North Korea level propaganda right there. That is not.
It was an interesting nugget for sure.
Yeah, that was what came out this week. There was a source that had that.
That is never true ever. So,
yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like the thing is, like, Michigan does not allow access to practice. So some colleges do allow access to practice. We don't get that. So we can only go off of what is leaked. So
yeah,
it is what it is. I mean, here's the reality too, though. Look, Michigan, the national championship caliber defense, definitely NFL kicker, definitely a few bright spots offensively. It's not all bad. It's just the coaching staff needs to do better. The quarterback needs to do better. The offensive line needs to gel. And I think it'll be okay. But we just have a big game next week. That's the concern.
Yeah, I mean, like you're going to win. You could sleepwalk your ways to 8 wins. I'm fairly certain. Like 8 of the teams you play don't really have much of a chance against you. But it's going to make like these issues are going to make a difference in those tough games. So
right,
all right,
and that's
thanks,
the goal:
guys.
win another natty. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sean. Well, it was good talking to you, man.
Thanks,
go
Sean.
Blue. Good luck in your season.
Oh, wait.
Except in November.
I know.
All right, Sean. We'll talk to you, man. Thanks for calling in. He's always a good chat, man. He's always a good chat.
Absolutely.
All right, knock out these super chats, Sean.
Yeah, Scottish with the 5. I think controlling the line of scrimmage and third down conversions make the difference. Yeah,
and I mean, like, look though, defensively we did control the line of scrimmage. Offensively, we didn't in the first half. We saw how that happened, right? It affected the run game. Our quarterback was a little off. Second half, it was improved when they put Crippen in. I agree. I mean, they definitely need to maintain that trench play. That's a key for our identity.
Well, and if you notice what happened once Davis Warren started hitting on some of those like 10, 13-yard passes, then what happened? The run started opening up too, because then they started going double high safety, and they started they opened the
playbook
for it.
They opened the playbook. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's so hard to get a full read on this because like that playbook was limited. Okay, like that's just the reality of it. Like we have a team with inexperience with a limited playbook tonight. That's what, and then they opened it up and the team played better. That's why I wish the Texas game was the third game, not the second game, but
me too.
Again, it is what it is, man. We're going to find out.
One more super chat to tackle here, and then we got a couple more callers. Elisha, another 5. You've been so great the whole show, so we appreciate you. Y'all make some valid points, which makes me believe, A, the coaches lied about Orgy all offseason, or B, they held back a lot.
I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, to be this improved passer that we heard about all camp, we didn't see it. We didn't see it. And then Davis Warren, I thought he had some good moments. I saw him lock on guys. We've talked about this. That's been hit on. I think there's more I think we need a little bit more sample size in one game before we can draw conclusions. I think we definitely need to give this a good 3 to 4 or 5 games, but it's interesting. It's something to observe. I'll say that. It's something to observe. We're learning together. It's a new coaching staff. It's a new era. We'll find out together. But I also want to give an update. We are 25 away from a third hour. Appreciate everyone contributing to the chat, either whether it be memberships or super chat. So thank you, everybody. And thank you to everyone hanging on the line. We got Nick and Keith Rebor coming up next on the phone line. So thank you, everybody. Hey, Keith is up, huh?
Absolutely. Next up is Keith.
All right, guys, go blue.
Go blue.
Go blue, Keith.
Yeah. All right, start with this. TJ, you're right on. There was a definite improvement in the second half.
Yeah.
If we play in the first half like we did against Texas, we will get blown out. If we play like we played in the second half, it'll be a close game, but we'll probably lose.
I think that's a fair assessment. That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
What's true in college football, and any good coach will tell you this, is that the biggest improvement as a team is between what games?
Yeah, week 1 and week 2.
Week 1 and week 2. So we have a lot to learn here. Our receivers were practically invisible. I looked up this stat while I was waiting on the call here. You know what the first down ratio was between the two teams?
I do not. I do not have that in front of me.
18-18.
Okay.
Now, how many times last year did we have a 1-to-1 first down ratio?
I don't know.
I don't think we had a 2-to-1 any games except maybe Penn State and Ohio State, the really good teams. So, our defense underperformed somewhat, as well as our offense underperformed somewhat. So we definitely can do some improvements, and I don't think Sharon Moore is going to be a player's coach this week. I think he's going to chew their asses out because they deserve it.
Oh, I'm sure the boys are going to get. Listen, that was a smack in the face tonight. Even though we won 30-10, that was a wake-up call. They got punched in the mouth. They did respond. Okay, they did their job, right? We got the W. It doesn't matter how you win, inch or mile. Thank you, Toretto. But yeah, no, I mean, no question. This week of practice is going to be. I think the jokes will be at a minimum. I think the focus will be at an all-time high.
It's going to be hell.
Yeah. It's gonna be a tough week. Yeah, they're gonna be. I'm sure after the game they won the game, but I'm sure the coach let them know the deal.
Yeah, John, we talked about a month ago about why Warren is so much better in the spring games than he is in the real games, right? And what I thought about it was what I just hung up after that is that in the spring game, you have 20, maybe 30,000 people, a very passive audience. But when it comes to the real games, you got 110, 112,000 people there screaming their heads off. It's a different environment. I think that pressure is getting to him. He made a couple of really bad reads on an interception. He threw right into double coverage. And then late in the game, he threw another one right into double coverage, and it fell harmlessly to the ground. But he took another chance there. And if he is, and I will say this about Warren, is that in the warm-up shows for the games yesterday, Joel Klatt sat down with Sharon Moore and had like a 10 to 15 minute conversation with him. And during that, they cut to some quarterback plays. And you saw Orgy, and the couple seconds they showed Warren, you could see his head swiveling through his reads really nice. And this is what the coaches are seeing every day in practice.
Right.
Who's going through the reads and who's fixating. Like you say, fixating. Even JJ tended to fixate on Coastal Loveland last year because he's such an attractive target. You know he's going to catch it. He's going to get yacked, and he's going to fight for everything he can get.
He's a cheat code, as they say, like even in college football 25. I mean, I go for him quite a bit in college football 25, and he's 6'5", so he's a clear target.
Right. So
But you
these
got to
guys got to
disguise it a
move.
little more.
These quarterbacks got to move off the double coverage, and they've got to find somebody that's in a single coverage or somebody that's sitting in a zone like their quarterback did all friggin' day.
Well, all right, you're right. So I actually texted John and I asked him, I said, hey, if we had Fresno State's quarterback, do you think we'd be better? And John said, what'd you say, John?
I don't
You said,
remember.
I think so. You said, I think
Yeah.
so. I don't remember. You said, I
Okay.
think we would.
I literally don't remember.
Yeah. So, but like, here's
yeah.
the thing, right? So to your point, Keith, listen, Davis looked better in the spring game. Live bullets, he did not. Again, I think what we're seeing is inexperience. I think these kids are actually better than what we saw today. I think I talked about the playbook. We don't got to get into it. I think more time on task, we'll see it. We're going to see a team grow and evolve here. It's just, I think we all agree we don't have time. Like, that's the problem. We don't have time. And unfortunately, potentially, we'll find out, coaching staff put us in this position by not getting a quarterback who was ready. And this is what Ohio State talks about, by the way. So I'll give them a little flowers here. They got Will Howard. I'm not high on Will Howard, okay, because he's a 59% career passer, 60% recently. He has a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. True, but what does he have? Experience. He has experience. He has won games. He knows how to play in big moments. That's what Will Howard has. Okay, so that's the difference. Right now, we have a quarterback with no experience. It's his first start. Live bullets, he did look like a little deer in headlights sometimes. He was locking in. He looked nervous. Listen, we should see improvement from week 1 to week 2, like we talked about, Keith. It's just, again, it's like it's Texas. Like I don't know. Hopefully the boys come to play. Here's the good news. It's at home. It's at home. So we got the crowd behind us. It's a big game. We'll see. We'll see the improvements they make, man. I mean, I'm sure next Saturday's call-in show is going to be an interesting one. I'll tell you what, though, we get that victory. Woo, bro! I'm going to sell.
It's going to be something. I think the reason I said I liked Mikey Keene and I think he'd do better in this situation is because he's had a few years, right? He had a year. He had years at UCF. He had a year at Fresno State last year. He's had bowl games, right? Exactly. He's been through some stuff. These quarterbacks really haven't, right? Except for limited game time, or in Orgy's case, like the occasional run, like RPO thing here and there. So yeah, I'd like to have a quarterback that has experience, especially against Texas, a playoff team, next week.
Or if you don't have a quarterback with experience, you better be freaking elite, like a JJ or a Brady Hart type of quarterback. Like you got to have that elite player who you can learn and grow with, right? I mean, that's the difference, right? You either have an extremely elite, inexperienced quarterback, or you have an experienced quarterback. Like Ohio State went through it last year with Kyle McCord, and this is what they talk about with Kyle McCord. He would make these decisions that they felt capsize their games or put them in bad positions. Because he was inexperienced. Now he's at Syracuse. We'll see what he can do. But like, this is their argument. We are going through what they went through last year in the sense of a quarterback. Now I would argue, and I'm sure Ohio State fans might be watching this, they're going to say, well, Kyle McCord's better than Davis Warren. Yeah, I don't disagree. But my point is there's still a lot of relatable things from the two quarterbacks, right? So we'll find out, man. And look, at the end of the day, here's what needs to happen. Coaching staff needs to do better. Offensive line needs to have more chemistry. And then the wide receivers got to get open. I mean, that's where we are offensively. And then they need to put Donovan Edwards in a position to succeed because they didn't. They did not put Donovan Edwards in a position to succeed tonight. And that's on the coaching staff.
Is that on Campbell or is that on Don though? Don.
Oh, it's a two-way street, man. I mean, it's a two-way street, right? You got to make plays. You got to make the most of your reps, right? I mean,
Campbell gave Mullins a good chance to perform, and Mullins made the most of it, and he ran like Haskin-esque.
Yes.
And I have to believe that Donovan had that same opportunity, and just doesn't seem to be able to deliver. Unless it's a really big game at the end of the year.
Well, yeah, I mean, they talked about that. I mean, listen, we know. I mean, Donovan shows up. His sample size has shown that he has shown up in the big moments. I don't know. To me, what I saw tonight with Donovan was a bigger back with maybe a little less burst, a little less breakaway speed. I still think he can break away, but when he tried doing that end around, he got caught quick. I don't know. I think what they need. I think they got to put him out wide. I think they need to start splitting him out wide. I think they need to start moving him more. Let him also be a decoy, right? Use him as a decoy. I mean, the Lions do a great job with Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is a burner, but they use him as a decoy a lot. I don't feel like I'm not impressed with our play structure, but again, the playbook is about 20 to 30% used tonight. Like it's too hard. Right now, we're not in a position where we can really draw a conclusion. What we have is the first test not passing. Well, I guess it passed because we won, but a C. I think we would grade tonight as a C or a C minus. I think a lot of us would grade it a C or a C minus. Maybe worse. I don't know. Let us know in the chat. What do you grade tonight's offensive performance using a letter grade criteria? What is tonight's offensive performance to you guys? And then I also want to give an update to everyone. We are $16 away from a third hour. So 16 away from a third hour. If you guys want us to go another hour, Nick is on the line. We will take Nick, by the way. So Nick, you're up next. We will definitely get to you. But so yeah, we got people in the chat right now. Troy, D plus, Dependent C. Yeah, so I'm about a C, C minus offensively.
Me too.
Yep. So it needs to get better, man. It's just what it is. So what else you got for us, Keith, before we get to Nick?
Okay. The McBurrow play really concerns me.
Yeah?
Yes, is because I don't know how much you guys ever played, but the rule number 1 on defense is keep your shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he got turned.
So that you can move left and right. If you get your shoulders turned and you face a direction, the easiest thing in the world for the other guy is to cut in the opposite direction, and you have no chance. You run yourself out of the play. And you know who did that really good last year at the biggest moment was Keon Saab against Isaiah Bond on that 3rd and 19 or something it was, or 3rd and 20 it was. And he stopped him at the 2-yard line. And if you notice, his shoulders were square. He got between Bond and the end zone, and he stopped that guy from getting the end zone from 2 yards out. McBurrow couldn't do that from 10 yards out. So that boy has to do some serious learning.
Well, the good news is Zeke Berry is going to start over him. He's simply a depth piece. He was rotating in for Zeke Berry. But yeah, I mean, he's got to learn on the job, right? But again, this is where these younger players are getting run. I don't disagree with you, Keith. I saw that touchdown and I was disappointed, but they're not going to play perfect. Will Johnson got burned tonight too, man. It was an interesting week 1. Let's remember this too. Let's also remember week 1. There's rust. They're gonna get in the rhythm of things. The playbook was limited. We have to remain mindful of the true dynamics of everything. But yeah, there's definitely some areas of concern we need to be aware of, and we'll see how it goes. We got 1 week to get a lot of it.
Oh no, 2 more quick points. One is midseason form. Yeah. What percentage do we think they are towards midseason form? They didn't look like they were any more than 5 or 10% towards midseason form.
Well, let's do it a little differently. Defensively, right? Defensively, midseason form, I'd say they're probably 70% there. 75.
Why did they give up 18 first downs? They gave up 243 yards to we had 275. Yards.
That's fair, but I'm also coming from a position of they're not dialing everything. All the coverage disguises are not being played right now, Keith. They're not showing these things. They're not showing what they're going to show Quinn Ewers. They're not.
I hope so.
That zone blitz they wouldn't have done that if we were blowing them out. They did that because we needed to make a stop. That zone blitz with Jay Sean. Like there's just certain, like, I hear you, but I'd say we're at least 70-75% defensively. I mean, listen, we shut them down all night. They only had I mean, yeah, they had some first downs, but they really didn't move the ball too much.
And their only touchdown was on the blown tackle by McBurrow.
Yeah.
Although they did march down that field, basically rushed on us, I think like 7 or 8 plays in a row to get to that point, remember?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that play was, they were driving on us. I remember them driving on us. But yeah, I mean,
They drove from their end to our end, and then McBurrow made that bad play, and they scored the touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let it go. You guys are going late, so
All right,
I'll let it go at that. But we'll talk again Thursday probably.
All right, Keith. Sounds good, man. Looking forward to it. Go Blue.
I'll see you guys Tuesday. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Yeah. Hey, $16 more. We're going to be going even later. So 16 away, guys, from a third hour. Let us know if you want it. If you want it, we're here for it. If not, we're going to bring Nick on. Actually, hold on. We have some super chats we got to hit, John. Let's knock those out.
And I did want to just mention that I agree with Jay Marion that, like, yeah, first downs were given up, but when it came time to actually put up points for the other team, Michigan did a good job of keeping them mostly off the board. 10 points, that's not that much.
And,
that's pretty good.
Listen, and like, look, dude, like that playbook again, they were not in their bag. Like they were not in their bag. Like that was some basic defense, just to keep them honest. Like, I mean, listen, I'm not concerned about that yet. Week 3, week 4, we can have that discussion. Week 1, I'm not there.
Elisha,
yes,
we got
Keegan. You can call in Keegan.
We got two deep balls thrown, 1 interception, 1 clamped. Yeah.
I think he means the Quentin Johnson pick. Or was he talking about like we threw those interceptions?
Like we threw.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because of Davis's attempt early on to the deep shot, which I actually didn't have a problem with at all. I thought that was, if you're going to throw a deep shot, that was the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Execution was a little off.
Right. He needed to be. Yeah, that needed to be better. But I mean, I can respect the gunslinger mentality, but I also think. Oh shit!
Oh,
we're going, John.
We're going.
The respectable Buckeye Sean, not a Michigan fan, supporting the Michigan channel.
Wow.
Keegan, call in, bud. We're here for you. But yeah, man. But no, but like, look. By the way, Sean, thank you. Listen, give these plebes. Hey, man, come on, bro. Not just joking. A third hour. Don't say I never did anything. Hey, Sean, we appreciate it. Thank you, my friend. Even though you're a Buckeye, listen, we could be enemies, but we can also be friends at the same time. It's a crazy dynamic. But yeah, look. I don't know. I mean, look, Davis, he's got to improve, man. Like at the end of the day, we are not satisfied, guys. I mean, I don't think any Michigan fans walking away tonight satisfied. I mean, defensively, yeah, I feel good about it. Kicker, yeah, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
Offensively,
weak.
Yeah, I don't want to be Iowa. Like, I don't know.
No.
That's not us. That's unacceptable.
No, I want to see more of what I saw in the last drive, the last scoring drive. Play action, misdirection, making people think that there's going to be a pass play. It's actually a run play. You're going to need to do that against Texas. There needs to be a lot more galaxy brain thinking there to keep them
the defense off balance, which is exactly what they did. I agree. So let's get to our boy Nick. What up, Nick?
Hey, Nick.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, thanks for waiting, man.
No, it's all good. I don't want to keep it too long. Yeah, I'm not worried about the defense. It's about scoring points. We've seen teams rack up tons of yardage, Michigan defenses before, and they blow up in the red zone, and obviously they're going to get a lot better. And like you were talking about, I think they were doing some bland stuff, not showing much. So although that wing that blitz in the red zone. I think that was with McBurrows. You guys were talking about. That was definitely. I'm with you guys there when you immediately felt a little bit of Don Brown with that.
Yeah, just for that moment, it felt a little Don Brown.
It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was like really schematically Don Brown, but I think everyone kind of had flashbacks a little bit with that. But yeah, just not worried about the defense.
No.
I'm just curious. So I give the wide receivers a flat out F. I give the offensive line a C minus.
It was an F at the beginning. Yeah, it was. It's hard because it's like I would probably go D minus in the beginning of the game, but they improved to like a B in the end. And
listen to this though. Listen to this though. Outside of Colston Loveland, Tyler Morris was our leading receiver with 3 receptions. You guys ready? 15 yards.
Yeah. So, but like my thing is like, what do people expect Davis Warren is going to happen with a first-time starter who's only thrown a handful of passes when your wide receivers suck ass to the point where just the effort is just garbage. I mean, just lackadaisical bullshit out there. And then the offensive line. I mean, and on top of that, dude, Davis Warren got rocked early in the game. And Devin Gardner has talked about this. You cannot have your quarterback get hit like that early in the game. It changes. I think that's one of the reasons why he was locking onto Colston Loveland a lot. He got rocked, and obviously first-time starter. I don't think he had any faith in that offensive line to protect him tonight. I mean, there was almost another time Donovan Edwards, I think he actually picked up a block, but I think he was throwing it deep, and he missed Samaj Morgan. But I don't know. I was actually surprised Donovan didn't whiff on that block as well. And if he wouldn't have, Davis Warren would have gotten rocked again. So I don't know. I don't. Obviously, Davis Warren can improve. Definitely on the deep ball. But another caller said, "What does Davis Warren bring?" I think he brings very solid, like very good accuracy on short and intermediate throws.
I agree.
He's consistent with his ball placement, and he has an arm.
He has time.
Yeah, and he there's some things he can do. I think he needs to trust himself a little bit more as an athlete. I think he can move a little bit more than what he was showing. Obviously not on Alex Orji's level or not even close to JJ, but a little bit of deer in headlights, and I think he panics. He needs to just try to calm down. I think the game will slow down for him, but I don't know, man. I can't go to criticizing him for very long when the wide receivers look like that. Like, I was actually shocked. I thought Moore should have been benched immediately after that interception because, yes, did he throw it into double coverage? Yes. Right. Was it underthrown? Yes. But we've seen time and time again wide receivers that go make a play on an underthrown ball, and Moore didn't even do anything. Well, even Sharon Moore referenced it, like when they were talking to him at halftime. He was pissed about that play specifically, and he should have been. I would have fucking yanked Fred Moore for at least the rest of the half. And then not only that, but that other deep ball that he threw to Tyler Morris, where Tyler Morris actually got some separation. If you watch closely, right after he got separation, he hesitated. He slowed down. He stopped. If he would have kept his momentum, he probably would have caught that ball. So, I'm not blaming Davis Warren for that. And then, the throw to Samaj was double covered. But
I'll tell you who I'm going to blame. I'm going to blame somebody named Ron Bellamy, because who is the one who's coaching these mentalities, these best practices, the fundamentals. I'm not going to put that all on the player. I'm going to put that on day to day in practice, in camp. They have position group meetings. in those position group meetings, they review what happened that day. They review what they're going to be focusing on, and usually there are units. There's a unit on making sure that you're getting that separation. You're not slowing down. There are times when they focus on making sure you're fighting for a ball that could be a 50-50 if you don't go and get it, like Roman Wilson did in the Alabama game, for example, when there was situations like that. I'm putting that on Ron Bellamy more than I'm going to put that on the players.
Wait, hold on, let me interject, Nick. Well, first, let me give a shout out to Jay Pino or Pino. Apologies if I'm butchering your last name, for the $2.79 super sticker. We appreciate that.
Got a couple others too up.
Yeah,
up there.
my man Troy here. I just need to breathe. I think we will be good next week. I think we all need to take a breath as well. It is week 1, but I do think we all feel a little bit of intensity about the matchup next week. So hey, listen, we'll all go through it together. That's what it's for. That's what the show's for. We got it. We'll figure it out. Hopefully the boys will have it for us next week, week 2. And then to your point, Nick, and so shout out Troy. Thank you for being a member for us, man. But to your point, Nick, the reason why Davis Warren took that shot to Fred Moore is because there's been some reports out of camp that he's been connecting on 70-yard bombs to Fred Moore the past couple weeks. So he took that shot because they've been hitting it. They've been hitting it the last few weeks of practice. They didn't hit it. That is exactly why they went for that, because it has been successful against our defense. But unfortunately, I don't know if it was the timing. I mean, obviously he was late to throw it. He needed to get it to him sooner.
I think Fred Moore had his head up his ass on that play.
Fred Moore needed to definitely do more, but Davis Warren needed to release it quicker. He didn't release it quicker.
Well, yeah, he underthrew the ball. Okay, so there was I don't know if in 2021 pivotal game was against Wisconsin on the road. And yeah, Wisconsin wasn't like good that year, but it was still on the road at Wisconsin, tough. But we hadn't won there in forever. And I don't know if you guys remember this Cade McNamara pass where he underthrew it, and Roman Wilson had a ridiculous catch.
Yeah.
Turned around and had a ridiculous catch. Now, was that Roman being like a stud? Absolutely. Do we have a guy on our team right now who could do that? Probably not, at least yet. But like, I'm just like, an underthrown ball. I expect several things to happen from a starting wide receiver. You try to make a play on the ball, but if you're screwed, and there should be some sense of urgency when a potential interception is happening right in front of you, and there was no effort from him to try to break up the pass, or he didn't even go for it. It's just I didn't understand that at all, and like I said, I would have benched his ass. That's what I would have done.
I think what it shows though, Nick, is inexperience. And an experienced receiver knows what to do in that position.
Yeah.
Fred Moore, again, like this is, guys, we are literally seeing before our eyes what inexperience is, as well as we have a quarterback who I think is capable, but we did not put an elite player in that position. We did not go in the transfer portal. We also did not recruit well for 2 years there. This is also a little on Jim Harbaugh here, like, to be real with you, because they were very stubborn with their Dante Moore. Like, listen, if they didn't just lock in on Dante Moore, we wouldn't be in this position. They locked in, they were all in on Dante Moore, and that was before we were paying players. Like, they fucked this up, man. Like, to be real.
The funny thing is like, I think Dante Moore's a bust, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting is I wonder is if he would have came here and learned under JJ for a year, would he be? He went to UCLA. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I can't say I know. I'm just saying, like, But let's just say F Dante Moore. Bro, they went after one quarterback all cycle to show him loyalty. That's what they did. Damn.
It sucks.
It is what it is.
It works. It did work with Jaden Davis. It just doesn't always work. But that was Harbaugh's approach to quarterback recruiting.
I think
I
Davis Warren has a bit of a higher ceiling than what some of the callers are giving him
I
credit for.
agree.
I think there's a little
I
bit of
agree.
panic
I
going
agree.
on, which is fine. But like, I'll just remind everybody, like, I do have full faith in the coaching staff. I don't think people were getting flat out lied to from fall camp. It's
Yeah.
one game, and you gotta calm down a little bit, as hard as it is. But like, because if we beat Texas next week, who's gonna give a fuck about this game? So, but like,
Shit. Hey, we beat Texas next week, bro. We're like, as long as we take care of business, we're in the playoffs. You know, there's, you know, like the only games that matter after Texas is gonna be Oregon and Ohio State. You know, as long as we handle our business, and USC, I suppose. But outside of that,
there were plenty of throws that Davis made tonight that were pinpoint accurate and moved the chains. So he did it enough where I'm not concerned about him moving forward. Now, is he going to be? I've always been very concerned about this. We got a little spoiled with JJ's third down and long ability because was probably his best trait. He was just a magician with that, and I've never seen a quarterback like not be in a rhythm throwing the ball, must just hand the ball off, and then it's like, oh, it's third down and 9. Hey, JJ, bail us out, and he did over and over and over again. That's really rare. So probably not going to have that ability with these guys, but I would be fine with I don't know. What would you guys say Davis Warren's ceiling is? Do you think he could get production like a polished Jake Rudock maybe, or like?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a good one. That's actually a really good,
very good comparison, to be honest with you. Absolutely.
So
Warren can be an above average quarterback. And to Moose's comment here, Dylan Raiola looked impressive in his first game with Nebraska. Dylan Raiola is a generational quarterback, though, Moose. I know you know that.
Yeah.
Listen, they're calling this kid Pat Mahomes Jr. Pat Mahomes is calling him little brother. Okay, like that's a very special elite player. Okay, like Bryce Underwood was our special elite player that, like, some of the commenters. Listen, LSU was doing a lot more, and not only that, their offense is far more appealing than Michigan's, and that's the reality of it. Underwood has even stated that. It's also been stated behind the scenes. Underwood listen, they were recruiting Underwood when Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. Okay, like that is an easy sell to a quarterback. Michigan's offense is not the easiest sell to a quarterback, but the good news is this: we have Jaden Davis in the pipeline, and we have Brady Hart coming. Brady Hart is elite. 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions through 2 games right now in high school ball right now.
He's looking
that kid
great.
is balling out. He will be a 5-star. That kid's elite. He's your next JJ. Even though Jaden Davis is gonna be good, we're gonna be okay. It's just right now it's tough because we did not, unfortunately, put ourselves in the best position. The NIL transition, along with Harbaugh's stubbornness with recruiting, we're here, and and then not landing a portal quarterback because they wanted to roll with Orgy and Warren. We're here. So now what you have is a player that needs time to develop. We are in a position that you find a lot of schools like an Iowa, a Wisconsin, or a Northwestern, or other schools on a Power 4 level. Their quarterbacks need time, and then as they get time to develop, more games, more times on task, they become really good quarterbacks. That's Davis Warren. Davis Warren's going to need more time. The offensive line is just going to need more time. That's just where we are. They're just so young.
The offensive line was really strange. Like, I think the theme of the game, for me, at least the overall tone that the coaches set, and I really think this could have affected the players' effort because, let's just be honest, it did look more like a scrimmage than a game as far as urgency goes. And it just kind of felt like the coaching staff was just dicking around most of the time. It was just a very odd. Even the way that they deployed Alex Orgy, I was not a fan of.
Dude,
like I would like to see him get at least one full series in the game, and they didn't even give him that. So,
yep.
Not only are you dealing with inexperienced quarterbacks, but there's just no rhythm, and
and then, Nick,
a lot of moving parts there.
But Nick, to your point, they throw him in at second down, and then he fails, and now
that's
going
to hurt not only Alex, but that's going to hurt Warren. That's why I just can't put a ton of. I really don't think we saw what Warren can actually do. But you know, and JJ wasn't great on deep balls some of the time, but I don't know. It's interesting to me. I will say this: when the defense needed to bow up and make plays, they did. And when Fresno State came down and scored that touchdown to make it 16-10, it was kind of like, well, shit, boys, like we got to go down and score. We got to have this. Like we can't lose this game, because I think every Michigan fan at that point was like, fuck. Like if we do not score, Fresno State might just come down and take the lead, and
yes,
that would have been a disaster. But hey,
it was close to a disaster. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's when I poured my first beer. I think, but like
when they had to have it, they went down and they got it, and they looked great. And that's I think an early sign of a team that is going to be good. Wouldn't call them good right now. I don't even think, with the way the coaches approach this game plan, I don't even think a lot of the players had much of a chance as a cohesive unit to really show what they could do.
Yes.
But I'm not going to panic yet. Again, my biggest disappointment was, and by the way, too, I do think Greg Crippen's the guy, but that's just me
too.
No, that's everybody. It's everybody.
He just
I
like,
mean, all right. So to your point though, Nick, to hit on those, look, when the playbook expanded though, like I'm telling you guys, like this is a lot of what we witnessed tonight was one, coaches putting players in bad positions. They got to do better. That's not acceptable. Secondly, that playbook was limited, man. And when it mattered, they opened it up. It got a little more complex. They started doing a little more disguises. That's the difference. And then you have inexperienced players. Like that's what we're seeing with week 1. Like that is just what it is. Hopefully next week, they can come to play and the coaches do a better job. Cause like really though, I mean, for a week 1 performance under the Sharon Moore era, yes, it was a 30-10 victory and we got the victory, but like, man, it was a little uninspiring.
I think Sharon was pissed like that.
Yeah,
which is good.
When Jadis
we want that
pulled over like a bowling pin. I think it cut to Sharon for a second there, and he was screaming like he was not.
Yeah, Judas was not very. Yeah, he wasn't very good.
Nick,
one more. Give us your final thought, because we got 2 callers and a couple more super chats to read. So give us your final thought for us.
Yeah. So, final thought: I expect a ton more from Tyler Morris. It's one thing to have Fred Moore, an inexperienced wide receiver, making mistakes. It's another thing for Tyler Morris to do some of the bullshit he was doing. And then, I wouldn't pick them at this point to beat Texas, but I do think they'll open the playbook up. I think we'll see notable improvement, and I think it should be a pretty competitive game. And who knows? I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they beat Texas, but I think we'll have a good year, so I'm not that worried about it.
All right, Nick. Appreciate your call, man. As always, you bring it, man. So, don't be a stranger, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Yes, sir. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Go Blue, Nick.
Let's hit those super chats before we take our next caller.
Yeah, so there were a couple more in the middle here.
Okay. Apologies.
Yeah, so we got... Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So Elisha had hit another one, $1.99. I think us only throwing deep 2 times is telling. She had said one earlier about the two deep balls, so more on the deep. And I'm with you. I think part of it was that Davis Warren. Like Davis Warren, to his credit, was probably coached by Kurt Campbell to take what the defense gives you. If you notice, that was a key component of JJ's coaching last year, is don't try to be the hero, take what the defense gives you. Davis Warren was trying to take what the defense gave him tonight. You notice that he was hitting, he was trying to go for whatever, even if it was like a yard or 2 yards, like get the completion, don't take a sack. That was his training. And so he just didn't see that many opportunities. I saw there were a couple where there were some open receivers. There was at least one that I saw with open receivers down the stretch, and he took a check
you
down.
said it was Bell, Kendrick Bell. You said Kendrick Bell was open. You texted me.
Right.
Is that the one you're referring to?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Look, again, he locked in again, but like, I don't know. I think he's better than that. I hope listen. One, I hope, but two, I do think he's better than that. That's like, I'm not just saying I think he is. Like, I really do. Like, all indications are he was going through his progressions. You know, I don't know. I mean, I just think with the way the offensive line played in the beginning, the way Judice was playing in the beginning, getting pushed back, like the boys got punched, man. Like, we'll find out. Hopefully next week we'll see another thing. But listen, it doesn't get easier; it only gets harder. So we're gonna find out.
It's true. We got one more super chat, and then we'll take Keegan. So Josephine, $5. And by the way, welcome back, Josephine. Josephine was a regular last year, and I'm really glad that you're back. So with the 5 here, I wasn't especially disappointed, but I kind of wish we were playing East Carolina next week to work out a few more kinks. That would be nice.
Yeah. So last year was not the year. This year is the year to have 3 cupcakes. I mean, we really need more preseason like games. I mean, like, yeah, it's see, that's the thing is Texas is experienced. You know, they got Quinn Ewers. They have a bunch of guys returning on the offensive line. Their defense has a bunch of, they lost a lot too, though. They really did. Their defensive tackles, they lost. All of their weapons offensively, they lost. They're also dealing with injuries. They're coming here. So they're not in the greatest of positions, but it's also not the easiest team to go against. We'll find out, man. I mean, yeah, I prefer an East Carolina or a Northern Illinois,
But here we are.
Yeah, it's his life, man. Got to step
up. So one of our YouTube members and somebody who's been supporting Keegan is in the house. Michigan fan. Keegan, go blue. Thanks for waiting.
Go blue, guys.
Hey, what's up, man?
I just wanted to hit on I think we're sleeping on Wink Martindale a little bit. I know the rush defense was really good, and the pass defense was suspect at times, and maybe we blitzed too much, maybe we didn't. I don't know. I was a advocate for blitzing more this season. I thought we should have blitzed more last season under Mentor. But with Wink, I didn't like some things. Like, I don't think they should have did the cover 0 with McBurrows out there, and he obviously did not break down the tackle and push him to the sideline, which he should have. And I know we all love McBurrows and know he's a heavy hitter, and so no disgrace there. But I agree with people's opinions on putting people in bad situations. But the point I'm trying to make is like, Wink is a NFL defensive coordinator, and like some of the concepts that we saw tonight may not be like he might be playing chess toward the future.
Right. Agreed.
So TJ made that point too, like that there wasn't a lot of disguised stuff going on with respect to like how he was calling his plays. The coverages,
coverages and blitzes were definitely limited, no question.
Yeah,
they were doing a lot of 4-man blitzes. I mean, there's limits. Like I said, 25 to 30% of that playbook was used tonight. That is not the extent of our playbook. This team has more to show. I just don't know if it's enough against a team like Texas. We're talking about a top 5 team, a playoff team. A potential SEC champion we are going up against. Okay. There are people picking Texas to win the SEC. So it's a tough matchup. At the end of the day, I mean, playbook or not, it might not matter, but we'll see. I mean, we got a lot of work to take care of.
It is a tough matchup. It's proving to be a tough matchup, which goes against my original judgment on the game. But um, remember that nobody scored more than 14 points against Michigan's defense last year, other than I think Ohio State scored 17. Um, and this defense is better. So, which the flip side to that is that maybe we can't sustain drives as long, and the defense is on the field longer. But I feel I want to encourage Michigan fans that, I feel this game did look like a disaster, but I have to think that the the coaching and, like y'all said and other callers said, like putting people in the right positions, I think that will be different in the Texas game, and calling different plays. Um, I do feel good about the Texas game, despite what we saw tonight. I would think that we see something like 4 field goals out of Zavada. And you have to think that we would score 7 points on offense, and I have a hard time believing that Texas will score more than 14 points going by the trend. So I'm thinking 19-14 against Texas.
Stressful game.
I thought we would blow them out. I thought we would have the rushing attack, which we obviously don't at this point. But I do expect us to beat Texas in the defensive battle.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, I think the real battle is going to be our defense versus their offense, but it might with our offense being where it is, it very well could be just simply a defensive battle. What defense can hold the other offense in check? Yeah, I mean, interesting on the low score prediction. I mean, it's a fair projection because I think our defense can keep them. What concerns me about next week? Here's my biggest concerns. I got two. One is the coaching staff putting the players in a position to succeed. Two is the offense allowing the defense to get adequate rest, or is the defense going to be on the field a lot? Because if that's the case, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. No matter how good that defense is, they can't be on the field they can't be on the field for long drives continuously. Our offense has to give the defense a rest. Right. No matter how much we rotate, it doesn't matter. So,
what you got, John?
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to go prediction wise. You'll find out Tuesday when we do Michigan Wolverines live.
What a tease! What a tease!
I know. Tuesday,
You're
8 p.m. Eastern.
Ex,
we will also have, and Matt Miller's in chat right now, chopping it up.
Is he? He's scouting the enemy.
He
What's up, Matt?
Yeah, he's chopping up with Moose over there. So yeah, Matt's gonna be joining us. He hosts the Texas Longhorns live show over at the Texas channel, Voice of College Football. So we'll talk about predictions and all of that. But I will say that the path to Michigan winning is exactly, I think, what Keegan you've outlined. It would be a defensive game where Michigan is able to hold Texas more. But I don't think anybody's claiming Michigan's going to score, 30, 35, 40 points on Texas. I think it's going to be, if Michigan wins, the path is a tight defensive game. And who knows, maybe Will Johnson goes for another touchdown, and that's some of the scoring.
Yeah, and I left that out of my prediction. I think that's fully possible that the defense scores. So you have to give Michigan one offensive touchdown. I think Zavada gets 3 or 4. So going by the trend of and I agree with TJ's point about the offense not being on the field long enough and that wearing down the defense. But I would have to expect, with the defense being better than last year, that's my projection. Power rating versus statistics. The defense is better, and Wink's going to pull it together. He's gonna figure it out. He's been in the NFL for a long time. Go ahead, TJ. Sorry.
I'm just saying, I'm looking at these stats of the game. Do you guys know how many rushing yards Fresno State had?
It was under 30.
Like
It was
20
9.
something.
9 yards.
Yeah, after the sacks, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
9 yards.
Yeah. 235 passing though.
Yeah, this defense is elite. It's probably the number one defense, and like you said, TJ, like if we're on the if we're not doing anything on offense, then the defense is going to be left out there and they're going to be tired. So we'll see what happens. But go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So how about this, Keegan? Give us a grade for the offense and a grade for the defense.
Offense is a D. I'd give the D A minus.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, all right, Keegan. Appreciate you calling in, man. Anything, any last points or questions before we move on to our next caller?
No, I appreciate what y'all do. Go Blue, and let's beat Texas.
Hell yeah, man. And just so you know, man, appreciate you, man, because you've been in the chat a lot. You watch all of our shows, and it's nice to have you call in, man.
Absolutely.
Right,
yeah, don't be a stranger, Keegan. What the hell, man?
I'm not.
All right, bud. All right, my friend. We'll go Blue, all right?
Go Blue.
Go Blue.
All right, yeah, Keegan. Nice to get a voice to the name because he's been very generous with his donations as well, contributions to the channel. We appreciate. Again, everybody who has contributed to the channel. We have 24 minutes left in the show. We're gonna hit 3 hours, John. We are quite a bit away from our next hour, which it's okay. We're 93.
I think we'll live.
Yeah, we'll be all right. 93 away from the next hour, but it's all love. All good. But we got another caller online. We'll get to you, Mike, in a minute. But I just want to give appreciation to everybody who liked the video, watching the video, in the chat, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. Everybody who contributed financially, thank you. It means a lot to us. Our moderators, thank you. You guys are here every show. It means a lot to us, So again, thank you, everybody. We have the best community in the network for the Voice of College Football, and I would argue the best community in all of Michigan content. Now, granted, On3 and 247 have their message boards. It's a little different, but I mean, strictly video based, I think we do have the best community. So thank you guys. Appreciate everybody. And then, all right, do we have any super chats or can we get to Mike?
We're ready for Mike.
All right, Mike. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Do good. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.
So I got a weird question. Have they tried Orgy at receiver? Do we know if he can catch?
That's hilarious. John, did I not text you we should put Orgy at wide receiver?
You did. And wasn't there like one play last year where they did that? They lined
wide. I don't know.
Yeah, they lined him up like one time.
I mean, there's a part of me that thinks let Davis Warren be the quarterback, put Alex Orgy on the field to make plays, whether it be in a tight end package or a wide receiver package, which, I mean, listen, to run routes is a different thing. I mean, they tried doing it with Denard Robinson for a little bit. It's not the easiest thing to achieve, but this kid's an athlete, get him the ball in his hands. But then again, you have these like pieces. Do they fit? Like Donovan Edwards. Like, I'm like, all right, let's be Khalil Mullins and Jordan Marshall. And then let's move Donovan Edwards out wide. Well, then what do we do with Alex Orgy? Do we also make him a wide receiver? Like, but I'll also say this. At this point, we need answers because we don't have them. So it's not a bad question.
I mean, it's such a freaky athlete for us. It's kind of like AJ Brown, and but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's something secret they got hid for next week. But I thought I'm gonna kind of stick with the positive since the last caller was kind of positive. But
Okay.
I definitely
Okay.
agree with you. I think definitely the zone blitz schemes. I think that's gonna get brought up a lot against Quinn. And then I mean, Jayshon Barham. It was funny watching that quarterback. He thought he was going to get around the corner on him, and he just chased his ass down. I mean, that dude is a freak.
He is a freak, dude. And he looks like a monster. Oh my God. He's
Yeah,
built well. He is
predator.
built well. Yeah, no, I agree. I think the zone blitzes are going to be. We saw it a little bit tonight. I don't think they wanted to pull that. I don't think they wanted to show that at all. We saw that later in the game. I think there's a lot of coverage disguises and blitzes that are going to be coming. We did a lot of 4-man rushing. We really did. People in the chat earlier were like, "Oh, we were blitzing a lot." No, we were actually getting a lot of pressure with just 4. So I'm very curious to see our defensive scheme or our game plan next week.
Yeah, I agree because all offseason we were hearing about the interior guys, and I was thinking they're going to get so much attention that Josiah and Derek. I mean, they're just going to eat, like one-on-one, and that's kind of what played out. It seemed like. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited about the defense, and then as the offense goes, I definitely agree with you on the coaching. I think we'll definitely learn a lot about Sharon and Campbell here next week because I didn't even I don't know, you guys could tell me, I didn't see any 6 or 7 linemen for the run. I didn't see any
Ooh,
big run
no,
sets.
no.
I mean, even the blocking concepts. I didn't see I don't remember seeing a pin and pull. I don't remember seeing.
I was there was a group chat. Maybe you and I talked about it, TJ, but I remember talking to maybe one of the group chats I'm in. Where are the pin and pulls?
Yeah.
It's absolutely spot on.
Yeah, because that's where I feel like Dono would, he feels like a Shanahan running back to me. He needs a zone scheme. He doesn't fit in this gap power. He just doesn't have the patience like Blake had, the vision.
Yeah, something's up with Don. And it's we've been putting a lot on the coaches because I really do think a lot of this is on the coaches. But there's been something up with and it goes back to last year, where he shows up for certain games, and for whatever reason, some games just not so much. But he's more effective in certain areas, like in the slot as a receiver. He's more effective. Running up the A gap is just not his thing, and that's okay because there's a spot for him where he can be really effective.
Yeah, but you know what? He wants to be that guy.
I know.
You can tell he wants to be. He wants to be an inside the tackle runner. He wants to be an every down back. But it's looking like it's not that. It is looking like. I don't know, man. I mean, it does suck because he should be. He has in terms of the archetype, the physical build and the speed. He should be that guy. But he's. I don't know.
I definitely agree there. You could see. I felt like he was running pretty hard. He definitely put his shoulder down a few times tonight.
Yep.
I mean, of course, the O line was suspect, but we'll learn more about that next week. But I think one thing I was really keying on was, which was they made it so obvious when Alex would come in with the rips, but I didn't see Davis pull it once, and I wonder if they told him not to because I felt like they did that with JJ sometimes. And then, so that way, I mean, I think the Texas will know he has that ability, but they didn't see it. So I wonder if that was on purpose, so that it's kind of a surprise. Maybe he gets the edge a couple times, and now they got to respect that, and that kind of opens up some stuff for Davis next week. But yeah.
Hey, Mike, 1 second. Hey, John, we got over 30 subscribers tonight.
Oh shit!
Boom!
Yeah. I just want to shout that out. Shout out to everyone who subscribed to the channel. We appreciate that. I just looked at our analytics, and we have 30 subscribers in just this show. So shout out to everybody who subscribed to the channel. Welcome to Michigan Football, the voice of college football. We appreciate it. Welcome. And Listen, there's any Buckeye? Well, actually, you know what's been nice? Has anyone noticed any Buckeye trolls in the chat? Because I haven't.
Oh,
You know, that's been
almost
nice.
zero.
Yeah. So all right,
there are a couple of Buckeyes, but
because
no trolling.
right. Well, because prior to this show, we've been getting a lot of it, so it's nice. We got the subscriber only chat going right now, so it seems to be working. So, but all right, Mike. I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody who subscribed to the channel, but. Yeah, I mean, so what was your overall feelings of the game? Like, I mean, how are you optimistic? I mean, you said you opened the call. You're like, well, I'll take an optimistic approach, but give me your real approach, Mike. We don't play that around here. Like, are you concerned? Do you feel like we're gonna be okay? Do you want to give it more time? Where are you at with it?
I'm definitely rocking with the defense. I think that, I mean, we all knew that coming in this year, but I'm definitely concerned with the offense. I mean, I think you guys had a letter grade on the last caller. On the offense, I would agree, like a C minus, a D plus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have a feeling there's going to be a little bit more zip next week. I think of it this way. We were probably thinking of Texas all offseason. Fresno State was thinking about Michigan. So I mean, you get in that situation where, and then Fresno State's no punks. Like that's they always play team stuff. So I'm pretty optimistic. Surprisingly, I yelled a lot during the game, but now I'm good.
Yes. Hey, me too, man. Yeah, I was yelling at my TV. Oh my goodness.
There's all kinds of emotions going on.
Yep.
But yeah, appreciate you guys, and go blue.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Hey, don't be a stranger, Mike. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, go blue, my friend.
Go blue, Mike.
Yeah. So, all right, we have 14 more minutes. I say we take some questions from the chat, John.
Why not?
Let's honor the hour. Thank you everybody again for contributing to our third hour on the for the show and our first post game of the season. So that means a lot to us. And again, everyone subscribing means a lot. So thank you. So if anyone has any questions they want to throw at us, go for it in the chat. We are done taking phone calls because we're going to be closing here in 14 minutes. But yeah, I mean, I guess closing thoughts until someone wants to throw some questions at us. But again, the team is a work in progress. There's definitely inexperience. We have a week to get a lot of issues fixed. Again, my position is simply this: we were using about a 30% playbook availability. And I think when you mix that with inexperience, you have the result you have tonight. I think that's why the second half was different. I think Davis Warren can be an above average quarterback. I think the defense is national championship caliber. I think we have an NFL caliber kicker. I also think we have a potentially NFL caliber punter. So we just have a few items that are important to get addressed. But if they can, and let me just, everyone remember last year when Texas played Alabama. They lost. They still made the playoffs. That was a 14 playoff. They got better as the year went on. We could have a similar result here. Now, don't get me wrong, though. We might have a bigger hill to climb in terms of development and getting experience quickly. But I think we might see a similar trajectory. Now, what's a little, again, I don't know, maybe unfortunate. We have USC first week of Big Ten play. So we better figure it out. Now, the good news is they don't have defense. USC doesn't typically have a good defense. So we'll see. We'll definitely pay attention to that. But I think we're a good team. We just have a lot of areas that need improvement as it stands.
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about, Michigan's defense was as we thought it would be. And what it is dominant. Were there moments where there could have been improvement? Yes, but like we've talked about, that was as I expected. Now I predicted that Michigan would win this game 27-13. The reason I predicted 27-13 and it wound up being 30-10, the reason I predicted that is because I knew that you're starting a new quarterback who has very little game experience. You're starting new wide receivers that have very little game experience. I saw that. You know, there's a lot that you're figuring out, and we've seen in 22 and in 23, and hell, in 23, Michigan won the entire thing. But in the first game, there was a lot of this exact type of stress and this exact type of, what are we doing? Well, every year, I feel like O-line is a position group you've actually got to play games. You can't just, that's not just a camp only thing. You're not going to know what you have until you're in live fire where there's no restrictions, no anything, and you saw immediately they probably made a flip to Crippen starting in the depth. Like there was a on the fly flip to the depth chart that happened when Crippen just outperformed massively what was happening, and push started to happen on the line, and so Michigan was figuring some of their stuff out in the third and fourth quarter of this game.
We have position battles going into the season. There was a little bit of that last year. And like, look, we could all feel it. I literally posted. Now I was wrong about Orgy, but I literally posted it might be Orgy time and Crippen. It might be Orgy and Crippen time is what I posted. Crippen came in that drive. Okay. Like it was very obvious that Judice was not able to handle it, although they did put him in later. Again, I think there's a battle going on. I don't think it's settled yet. I do think Crippen's the best one so far. There's still battles being played out. It's just unfortunate. Again, I know Matt's in the chat. And I also want to say this. I really want to beat Texas, but I really don't want Matt to have bragging rights over us. So we better beat Texas because I gotta when do we play Texas again? Is it next year or do we got Oklahoma next year?
2027, I believe.
Yeah, so
the next
we either got to play those guys.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly. So we either got to play those guys in the playoffs again and beat them, or I got to wait a few years and this kid's gonna have bragging rights on me. So like, we can't have that. We got to beat Texas. So, but yeah, so we got position battles going on. Look, I don't think Davis Warren, Alex Orji is a done battle. I think that is still week to week. I really do. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm concerned about Orji's passing because they, just like last year, John, they were not giving him the opportunity to throw except for that first touchdown. You know?
Here's my question.
Let's see. How many? Well, hold on. Let me look at this before we jump to your question. How many pass attempts did Orji have tonight? Let's look. I think it was two. Two. Jesus. Here's Orji's stat line. 1 for 2, 3 yards. Come on. They didn't do that because he can pass. They did that because they don't trust him passing. That's the reality. Now, here's what's a little crazy, though. We saw him in the spring game, John. He actually looked fairly competent. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know.
Yeah, he was in the 70s for completion percentage.
Yeah, it's a little baffling. I don't know. Especially all the positive out of camp, but.
So okay. So I understand. And look, we the intel that we were getting is that Alex Orji is the starting quarterback until this week, really.
Well, let me just say, and the reason why that is because I get intel weekly. I don't get intel daily, so I didn't know. I don't get information. Like I didn't know what happened this week. Like when we give you guys the reports on Tuesday, it's because I get information over the weekend and I bring it to you guys. But like I can't, like how it works is you can't bug these people because then you'll lose your access, right? So I'll send a text and get an update and then I'll provide that update to you guys, and that's kind of how that goes. But so what we heard when we presented everybody on Tuesday was that Alex Orji took the lead, which he did. But this week, Davis Warren, as we know, and Sam Webb's the one who really had it. Davis Warren just shined. He stole the job. So that's just what happened. So, we'll see. I'm interested to hear I'm interested to see what the coaching staff's thinking, the direction of the team going forward. And, what is going to be the mentality this week, the direction of the team this week.
So my question then really is, with the intel that we're getting, how come, so you've got Alex Orji, you've got Davis Warren who surged and outperformed in camp. So I'm assuming that means Jaden Davis is with the 2s and 3s primarily. So, I guess, is there any world in which Jaden Davis starts to get more of a look if this scenario continues into next week?
I wouldn't expect Jaden Davis to get run until late October.
Okay.
They're going to let these guys play out. I mean, they're in no
That's
rush
fair.
to start a true freshman.
Right.
You know, plus you got the red shirt factor, which they want
That's
that,
true. That's
you know,
true.
so I listen, here's what I think. If this quarterback situation does not improve, expect a very aggressive push for a portal quarterback. A very aggressive push. And also, I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. I know there's like, you know, listen, Michigan's improved NIL. They have. And if anyone saw Ward Manuel's interview this past week, he talked about there's a culture within the donor base, a mentality of we don't want to pay athletes. Now, Ward has said that that is changing, which we know it is.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still this. For example, Stephen Ross, one of our biggest, he doesn't feel like he should pay student athletes. Okay, so for anyone wondering, what like, listen, Nike has Phil or Oregon has Phil Knight. We got Stephen Ross. What's going on here? Stephen Ross does not feel like he should pay student athletes. Now, don't get me wrong, Stephen Ross does a lot. We know that, but there are donors of his ilk who do not feel like they should. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, donors are gonna get real motivated real quick. They're gonna get motivated real quick. Like this is, you know, again, when times are good, there's a little less motivation on some people's end. When times get tough, listen, nobody wants to see the team they love, the program they love, not winning. That's just the reality of it. So, listen, at the end of the day, I fully expect, I expect improvement in all areas. And if we do happen to take a dip in the win column, I do not expect Michigan to settle. They won't settle. It will not. They're already not. We've seen growth and progression this year in a lot of areas. We also are very aware, if anyone's paying attention what Auburn's doing right now, and other schools like Auburn, that is how you're getting talent. It's not wins. It's not prestige. It's not academics. Listen, all right, update on Babaloa. You want an update on Babaloa? It's not academics. That's done. That's out the window. It's an Auburn-Michigan battle right now. And it's not about academics. It's a freaking NIL battle. And Auburn is not messing around. That's just the reality of it. They are buying everybody. They bought Nate Marshall. They're about to flip Ohio State's corner. They're about to flip Notre Dame's Deuce Knight. They're attacking Babaloa very aggressively right now. Or attacking might not be the word, but they are very aggressive in their pursuit of Babaloa. They have come into a very flush situation with donor money in the past 3 months. So that's the game. It's what it is. Oregon's playing it. Ohio State's playing it with $23.5 million. We're at 12.5. It's just where we are. So Michigan needs to just make the best of what we have right now and then keep improving monthly, which is what they're doing.
Yeah, so I read this so this week the book, the Price, What It Takes to Win in College Football came out, and I got it, I read it, I inhaled it, and one of the common threads in the book is talking about donors who have, like, it mentioned Phil Knight, but it mentioned a lot of donors who they already donate to the athletic buildings, to this, that, and the other, but they feel like they don't want to be paying players, and there's some type of stigma, there's some type of thing, like mental barrier, that these, especially the old school type of people, Phil Knight being a big exception to that. But these old school type of people that are, they want things as they were, or they want, like, and I get where they're coming from. In an ideal world, players are getting paid for their name, image, and likeness, like what was supposed to be the idea, right? Jersey sales, going out and having a meet and greet, or getting your likeness on a video game, and those things happen when you do well on the field. And that was, I know, but so there's still this mental block for some donors. To Michigan's credit, in recent months, they have started to overcome that, and now they're playing the game to an extent. I still don't think that they're going to go, if Auburn's offering like $2 million. I don't think Michigan's going to try to say 2-1, 2-2. I think what's going to happen is Michigan's going to maybe go up, counteroffer, but then also stand on the merits of their program too.
Yeah.
Because there's a massive difference in education. There's a massive difference in overall program success. From where Auburn's been since Gus Malzahn got fired to now, they haven't exactly been that great, right? So there's a program success part of it. There's an education part of it. And so I think that you'll see Michigan willing to counteroffer to some extent, but they're not gonna be willing to outbid. Maybe they go up. Maybe they go up in their package. But I don't think
they already have.
Yeah, but
Listen,
I think you'll see that continue.
Full transparency right now. Let's just lay some shit on the table.
Yeah.
Washington came very aggressive for Andrew Marsh. Michigan responded. Okay. Michigan responded. The reason why this Andrew Babaloa recruitment is dragging is because they are all in negotiations right now. This kid isn't just I'm gonna chill, but they're in negotiations. I don't want to go into the details, but like that's what's happening. This is the game, boys. This is recruiting. It's where it is. You guys want to know why these kids set commitment. Andrew Babaloa he is supposed to commit since the end of July, guys. There's a reason. We know Auburn jumped in early August. There's a reason why Stanford's trailing real hard right now. Okay, like it's just what it is. Michigan is in contact with Babaloa daily, so that's just what we are. But like to Rico's point, he goes, we are literally already paying players. Yes, we are. And for anyone new, we were the first ones to break that. No one else had that. Not on 3, not 247, nobody. We were the first ones to discuss the evolved approach at Michigan, from regents all the way to athletic director, all the way to president, to coaching, to NIL, all of it. We had that. We had that in I think it was April, John. A lot of people didn't believe us either until we started landing these top 100 recruits. And then so this is true, Rico. You're right. We are. But we're at a top 15 level. We are not at a top 10 level. And there are other schools starting to really, like in Auburn, Missouri, there are schools starting to really kick it into gear that Michigan's just not at. Now, Michigan has things to offer where in terms of academics, in terms of facilities, in terms of Ann Arbor, in terms of the alumni network, these things do matter. Winning matters, development matters. It does. But at the end of the day, the dollar is going to secure a lot of these kids. So it just is what it is. Michigan knows this. And just like anyone who's watching, Michigan knows. They want to get better. And Ward Manuel really pointed this out. And I do know this. They are trying to get their donors. And Dusty May, shout out to Dusty May. He is a major factor in getting the donor base of Michigan on board. I have been told that Dusty May has really motivated donors. Okay. So, and not that Sharon hasn't, because he has. Sharon's done he's done his city tours. He's gone to New York and Vegas, and he's done that to raise funds. He's done that. But from my understanding, what I've been told is Dusty has really motivated donors, and he's gotten a lot of donors on board with understanding where the landscape of college athletics are. And then to the point of revenue sharing, let's just hit on that. We're at the 3-hour mark. We'll close here. Anyone who watched the Ward Manuel interview, if you have not watched the Ward Manuel interview with Sam Webb, highly recommend you guys check that out. Also, he did a great interview with Fox 2. It's a 10-minute interview. It's on YouTube. You guys can find it. Ward Manuel is becoming more and John, I sent that to you. Ward Manuel is becoming more transparent, which is nice. I'll give him credit there. Revenue sharing. Here's what's going on with Michigan. Michigan's going to do a $23.5 million revenue sharing pool. And the word is, nothing confirmed, just a lot of things I'm hearing behind the scenes. They're going to go half and half with men and women's sports. This is not confirmed, though. This is just what's being discussed. It's going to be half and half. And in terms of men's athletics, so that gives Michigan what? 11 point something million, 11.7 or so. I don't know. Something like that off the top of my head. Yeah, 7 million is going to go to football. 7 million of the 11 million is going to go to football. So that's kind of what it's looking like. It's not set in stone. It's just kind of where we are right now. So I would like more. I don't think, in my opinion, I would like to see about 12 million go to football, about 5 million go to basketball, and then the remainder go to non-revenue sports. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, and look, DF is spot on, and I said this
coming.
with Mark
coming.
Rogers.
Yeah, it's coming.
Like, we're getting there. I think this is a step. I think this whole every school has a certain pool of money that they can use to pay players is a step. And I think eventually you're going to look at, and I said this with Mark almost a year ago, and I'll say it now. I think we're headed to eventually having a college football commissioner, and there's going to be a specific governing body for college football, because the NCAA has proven time and time again to be ineffectual in advocating for what's needed in this and putting guardrails in for what's going on. And it's been the wild, wild west. And that's another thing in the book. It talks about it a lot. So so salary caps is one thing. Like, let's face it, we're going semi-pro. That's what's happening. It's happening slowly, but it's happening. And salary caps is another thing that will help make it fair.
Right. And to GT's point, he goes, with Title IX, don't they have to split it 50-50? Okay, so this is where we are in college athletics. There is so much gray area, and this is already being confirmed even publicly. This is going to go to court, guys. What's going to happen is there are going to be some universities that are going to, and we are already hearing about it with some of these SEC schools. Some of the SEC schools are saying we're going to cut non-revenue sports. Okay. Now, with Title IX, here's what Title IX is. The equality of opportunity, not the equality of outcome. Okay, that is what Title IX is. So Title IX is to give these female athletes the same opportunity as men, but the argument in court will be, it does not mean they get the same outcome in terms of payment, because they are not generating revenue. There are some athletic directors on record who have said revenue generation does not fall under Title IX. Now, there are people who say that's not true. So what the NCAA has said is that this will be resolved in courts. That's coming, and what John was talking about in terms of CBAs and salary structures, this is the future of college athletics. In the next, I'd say 3 to 5 years, the next TV contract, I think, is up in 2028 or 2029. Within this window, this will be figured out. So yeah, there is more change and evolution coming in college athletics. There's a lot of gray area. Ward Manuel had a very interesting point. He said, when we were being under investigation and a lot of teams were, I really do appreciate Ward for doing that interview with Sam Webb. I think, and shout out to Sam Webb for doing that interview. He did Sam Webb always does a great job with those things. But what he said was this: when we were being investigated, we did not feel like we should take those risks that other schools were making because we weren't sure on the outcome. And just recently, John, and our listeners may know this, because of Tennessee, now the NCAA is not even punishing NIL payments. And that just happened in February. Okay. So the years prior, when Michigan, and we know the NCAA is after Michigan, we know that they're trying to make examples out of Michigan. So I don't disagree with the mindset, but I will say the lack of being proactive, I don't agree with. Santaono is the one who kicked this thing off. Okay. So don't let anyone listen. I will say this. I like what Ward has done from March forward. I have been critical more of Ward Manuel, but what Santaono's got this thing going. Like, he's the one who kicked it off. He's the one who got a lot of things into gear. It's just kind of where we are at with Michigan athletics. But the good news is this: things are trending up in terms of the administrative, regent, donor, philosophical views on things. There was a time at Michigan where there were regents, and I won't name it, I've named them in previous shows. It's morally wrong to pay players. that was believed in the regions, amongst the regions. Crazy. So yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
And we'll continue to cover it here at the Voice of College Football and Michigan football. So after going 3+ hours with you guys talking the game and talking other things, our next show is going to be Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, with our buddy Matt Miller, who's been in the chat chopping it up here. He's got a great channel, the Texas at the Voice of College Football channel, and he does the Texas Longhorns show. And we're going to be doing some cross content with him on Tuesday. I believe he's also coming on the Collins show Thursday. So
Matt
double duty here.
Yep, he wants to talk to the Michigan community. I'm sure he's going to be feeling confident. We got to let him know the deal. Yeah, Matt. We cannot lose to Matt. It's not even about losing to Texas. We cannot lose to Matt. I can't deal with it. No, but it's all good. It's all love. But yeah, no. So Matt will be joining us for 2 shows, man. So I'm looking forward to that. Shout out to Matt. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. So great. Hey, and another good week of shows, John. Another good week of shows next week.
Can't wait. The season's here, and we're in it. And you're gonna get lots of hours of content and live shows and everything else with us. So keep it here at the Voice of College Football and at the Michigan channel. And until next time, go blue.
Go blue.
We'll see you.
Hey, go blue.